I was doing, like a Johnny Midnight overnight show or something, putting, that's one thing. But anyway, and my question was going to ask you, and Pete, let me start with you, because you're kind of a hot rod sports guy. A Mustang Sally, have you ever named your car?
Oh, I've always named my cars, except this last one. I can't decide if it's a him or a her, and I cannot decide on a name for it.
Well, we're going to come back to that. Flounder, what about you? Have you ever had a really fun car? I mean,
my first car was my grandmother's 1978 Cutlass Supreme.
Oh, nice. I had a Cutlass myself back in the
cream white top, baby blue with white walls, and I named it Orca.
Orca.
Because it was huge. It was just, it was giant.
Oh, my. My starter wife and I had a 1971 dark forest green Cutlass back when I was in graduate school, as I recall.
Those things were a tank.
Yeah, but they had that floating. They were big and a lot bigger and heavier than we have cars now. But they also had really good suspension systems in that they were too floaty. I mean, they were like we're riding a mattress down the road.
In my front seat was one long. It was a bench seat.
Bench seat, and in fact, all my first cars were all bench. They didn't start doing bucket seats till the mid '60s, or really, but all the bench seats. And I remember before seatbelts. My '53 Chevy and a dog ran out into the road, and I swerved to my left to avoid the dog. So I swerved to my left. The car went off the road into a field, and I ended up in the passenger seat, hanging onto the window. Because there was no seatbelt, he was sliding across those plastic seats. Anyway, and now Pete. I was 16 years old. I bought my first car, a 1953 Chevy, 3-speed, 3 on the tree, stick shift. I think it had an AM radio that didn't work. No heater, it had nothing to it. And I loved that. It was the top of the line. It had a lot of chrome on it, black, wide white sidewalls, the old-fashioned things in the fell. Man, I wish I had that car today. I can tell you. Anyway, Pete, now what were your names of your cars offhand? Do you remember offhand?
My first car was my grandmother's car, a '67 Olds Delta 88.
Oh, man.
Baby blue.
That was a monster.
She called it the Betsy, so it was pre-named when I got her. Betsy was her name. She was an iron shark coming down the road, man. And then we took the engine out and rebore it until made it from a 300 to a 400 horsepower. It was a monster.
Even the 300 back then was huge. My mother had, my folks had an Buick Electra convertible with a big engine, and that thing would move. I mean, they were big cars, but they also were pretty powerful. And that Olds had the Rocket 88 or whatever it was.
Yeah, with retread tires back when you could get those. So it would just sit there at the light and spin and spin and spin and spin.
I love it. Anyway, I don't have a name for I'm trying to remember. Of course, it'd be a little fruit. What was the number one? Didn't I tell you one time I added up all the cars I've owned or leased? It was like 42 or something.
Wow.
Remember that? I couldn't. Anyway, got distracted. Sorry, boys. 309. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Pete and Flounder. Here's what's going on. First, quick birthday. Again, I don't understand it. By the way, my Flounder, we haven't even started anything yet. I'm just, I guess I'm in one of those. You know why? Because I'm a little upset today, to be honest with you. And in fact, I had a talk with Amanda when I came in today. I'm a little upset with myself because I realized that now, oh my, who's that? Anyway, I realized with myself, they got to take this window out of here. I swear to God. Well, I'm right by the picture window when they come in. All right, anyway. So I went to, apparently I've had some I think some of these new afternoon people don't really like the Kimmer, Pete. They're saying some very nasty things about me because of my little conversation last week with Amanda talking about, and Flounder and Veronica trying to give some, love tips and dating tips, romantic tips on holding her hand and, making sure you stand when she comes in the room and various things like that. And so what's your reaction been so far, Pete?
Well, we got 3 reactions here. The first one, I don't want a 2-time loser in love to give me tips on dating.
Oh, God. Jeez.
Number 2, I wouldn't want my 80-year-old dad shopping for my pajamas at Victoria's Secret.
That was for my dog. Oh, God.
And thirdly, a listener from Noonan, who wishes to remain anonymous, wants to welcome you back to the airwaves. He's the same person who came up with the Lucas the Podcat. Okay?
Oh, no kidding. Outstanding.
But he says he is befuddled how Kimmer's dating tips segment has not been named Just the Tip.
Well, from now on. My announcement today, because I guess I'm retired. The Love Doctor is out. I guess it's not fair for me if it's so creepy. I heard nothing. Oh, it's so creepy. In fact, poor Amanda. I had her on Friday. I love this girl. She's just a wonderful young girl. And I ended up when I came in today here at the ballpark, the station, and I said, I don't know what kind of reaction you guys. She said, oh no, everything's fine. I said, boy, I got called everything but a ham sandwich. Right? Creepy. Leave that old man. Leave that poor girl alone. And she started laughing. She said, she come on the radio with me anytime we want. So there you are. Anyway, I'll try to be retired. Okay, one more tip. From now, I'll take the whole different angle now. For a whole different angle. From now on, here's my number one tip when you're meeting a girl for the first time. First tip, never give her your real name. Okay, now, here we go on for today's show. Flounder, we have a little musical accompaniment for our first weird story of the day.
Yes, we
do. And we will be, by the way, we'll be talking a lot about Jeffrey Epstein. The Anheuser-Busch people are reacting to what they've done wrong. The U.S. Olympic Committee on Leah the boy girl. Also, Pride Week and Pride Month and getting worse. And now, well, this wasn't quite it. Oh, here we go.
I didn't know if you were teasing it or taking us to break.
No. And is there one more? There you go. Thank you. Sorry, Flounder. I'm messing up Flounder all day. I make him do stuff. He says, I got things to do in here, And I said, no, you got to do this. Anyway, and by the way, it's 3:12, and I am going to be late for saying, this was an amazing story. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, this may be she tweeted this out, so she did it on her own. It wasn't like they're trying to, go look for things to talk about her. But here's the latest, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Here's what she tweeted out. Her TV set is spying on her. Quote, the television turned on by itself and the screen showed someone's laptop trying to connect. She thinks she's being spied on through her television, the congresswoman from North Georgia, appearing to express concern her life may be in danger. This is what the article says. Now, it's a little overblown, obviously, because they're talking about her. Quote, last night at my D.C. residence, the television turned on by itself, and the screen showed someone's laptop trying to connect to the TV. And then the reporter says, the far right-winger lawmaker wrote in a tweet, quote, just for the record. Now, this is interesting. Just for the record. I'm very happy. I'm also very healthy and eat well and exercise a lot. I don't smoke, never have. I don't take any medications. I am not vaccinated, so I'm not concerned about blood clots, heart conditions, strokes, or anything else, nor do I have anything to hide. I just love my country and the people and know how much they've been screwed over by the corrupt people in our government, and I'm not willing to be quiet about it or willing to go along with it. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't know what's going on. I bet it's the FGI, the Federal Gestapo investigation, and Chrissy the Cossack Ray, the disgrace of Atlanta, running the FGI. And I guarantee you, they're trying to plant stuff to drive her nuts. What do you think? Am I wrong?
No, hackers could get in there very easily and take over the camera. Yeah.
I mean, they've been doing it on baby crib monitors. Talking to babies in their sleep and stuff, and much to the apparent chagrin. In fact, I'll bet it's a freaking FGI. I guarantee. In fact, Blackbriar, Treadstone. Oh, by the way, I was supposed to get my car. They were going to pick up my car for service today, and I saw a couple of trace cars. They got some new Camrys now, but the FBI following me, trying to put stuff in my trunk. So I had to cancel my car thing for today and do it tomorrow, so I can change a different car so they'll never be able to follow me. Freaking FBI, man, it's coming up. Also, their report. I think they're the ones who killed Jeffrey Epstein, not the agents. The top guys. Also, the marketing people are out. Leah Thomas. Well, the dumbest woman on television, Anna Stupadio, is coming up shortly with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder on 106.3. Look out. By the way, did you hear the Bortz report this morning? Woo, doggies. Sorry, go ahead. Little girl. I haven't heard this song in 40 years, I'll bet you.
Run for your life.
I used to love this song, but honestly, this is not one of the songs you would hear on the oldies stuff. They just don't play it. I'll bet I haven't heard it since 1970 or late 60s or something. Anyway, this is the Beatles. How you doing? So are the Kimmer and Pete and Flounder. And by the way, we got a whole bunch of things talking about. Do more on the Bortz thing, too, coming up, and all your topics and issues. We got Flounder's Funnies coming up every hour for the show. First, the Beatles on this day, 2012. Oh, here we go. On this day, 2012, the chief medical officer of Russia said the Beatles were to blame for Russia's drug problem. He said the country's youths first got introduced to the idea of drug taking when the Beatles traveled to India to, quote, expand their minds. He said it was after that news entered public consciousness that people in Russia realized, hey, you can make money selling drugs. When business then realized it was possible to make money from that too, the goods associated with pleasure, it was all that we needed for the growth and demand for drugs in Russia, and they blamed the Beatles for the whole damn thing. That's a little,
No, it's right. It's true.
Yeah.
The Beatles turned a lot of people onto drugs.
Well, they did. Was it? Who was the guy smoking dope in the White House? Was that Dylan?
No, they never smoked in the White House. Bob Dylan is the guy.
I thought the Beatles smoked.
No, you're thinking about Jimmy Carter and Willie Nelson on the roof of the White House.
Jimmy Carter didn't smoke dope with Willie Nelson on the roof.
He did too.
What?
He did too on the roof of the White House and in the governor's mansion.
Wait a minute. Jimmy Carter smoked dope with Willie Nelson?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I might as well. Okay.
That's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
I was going to say. A quick birthday or two. I promise we have actual news, things, and topics and stuff. Allegedly. Khloe Kardashian's birthday today. Khloe Kardashian is 39. She's worth $60 million. Kourtney Kardashian is worth $65 million. Yep. Kris Jenner, the mom, is worth $170 million. God knows what Kim Kardashian's worth, the internet slut, who started, it all started with Kim Kardashian being a porn star with a rap thing, having sex on the internet. And now they're worth a couple $100 million.
Well, it was a leaked sex tape, but that's what she's known for.
Well, yeah. And
before that, all she did was she organized celebrities' closets.
Yeah. I God bless her. What a country. I mean, God bless America. But it's like, Charlie Sheen and that little sweetie girl, Bond girl's ex, wife's daughter girl, is now a webcam porn queen. She does slutty showing her naked body and doing stuff on the web for you have to pay a fee for it.
Really?
And that's how she's making a living.
That's outrageous. Where do you find that?
Well, and Charlie and Denise Richards are saying, well, we're all in favor because it's showing that she's a woman and she can do what she wants. Remember, a few days ago I mentioned, and she's complaining. She says, well, there's a lot of different definitions of sex worker. I can be an official professional sex worker. Doesn't mean I have to be a tramp. It's just, oh my God, I'm dying here. I'm a hooah. Quick thing in history. On this day in 1927, the United States Marines adopted the bulldog as our mascot, just for the record. Okay, a couple quick things going. Oh, by the way, speaking of the Russians and their drug stuff, the so-called possible attempted coup that was going on with the Wagner people and the Buccaneers and the professional killers and stuff in Russia. I guess that's all over. They're hiding in Belarus. But Flounder, just a minute ago, we were looking. Something's going on the internet. They were saying that the news is coming out that Putin may be flying somewhere and a couple other people are flying somewhere. Is there something going on?
Airplanes flying and. They were not flying on a normal pattern. They were flying around the ocean. And
it was from Russia with Putin and a couple others.
And other places, and they're all kind of...
We wonder if something's up. We don't know. If we see something, we'll keep you posted, but something might be a little bizarre. Also, let's see. I just got a couple questions. All right, I'm going to say, let me do this thing. Jeffrey Epstein. Here's the latest on Jeffrey Epstein. Yes. Jeffrey Epstein, now there's been a new Justice Department report. And it now is tried to explain how he died and how he was able to commit suicide, which they are saying is the official cause of death still. They can't find any proof that it was other than suicide by himself. Now, one of the other questions is, do you think he had help killing himself? Was he murdered? Did he have help with suicide, or did he commit suicide? There's really only three. There certainly wasn't an accident. Anyway, here's some of the things they found out after an investigation. And again, this was, 3 years ago? 4 years ago, I think, 2019, my goodness. Jeffrey Epstein was given extra linens in his Manhattan cell, and they failed to assign him a cellmate or take other precautions. He was waiting trial for sex trafficking. They have found no evidence that to contradict the designation of suicide. The report said there was negligence and misconduct. The environment allowed him to kill himself and deprive its victims of his underage girl of his crimes. Ghislaine Maxwell publicly stated that she thinks Epstein was murdered. He tried to hang himself before he actually did die. Epstein tried to hang himself. They found him with an orange cloth wrapped around his neck a month before. He thought his cellmate tried to kill him, then later said he didn't know what happened. So this, okay, he supposedly tried to kill himself a month before he did, but then he said, no, my cellmate tried to kill me, and then he said, well, I don't really know what happened. So I don't understand any of that. He spent a day on suicide watch, and then they cleared him, put him back in the cell. Let's see. There was they did not uncover any evidence contradicting suicide. There was other shortcomings. A faulty security system. I'll be darned. In that one wing, and not in the whole place. Just that one wing there. As I think. Also, against their policy, he was allowed to make an unmonitored phone call that night, supposedly to call his mother, but that wasn't true. He called some other girl. The night guards failed to complete multiple inmate head counts, so the security cameras were off. The guards did not do their rounds as they supposed to until 6:30 in the morning when they found him hanging from his bunk. His cellmate was transferred out the night before. He was alone and unmonitored. Okay, so come on.
Nothing to see here, folks. Keep moving. Nothing.
Probably fine. And by the way, Ghislaine Maxwell is serving 20 years for being.
And yet, not one person who went there and had sex with children has been brought to public scorn.
Well, again, and I truly believe from what she has said and others have said who were there, they have everybody on tape.
Yeah.
Video. He apparently had every room in his Slut Island taped, video camered.
He Errol Flynned every one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, or Fatty Arbuckle or wherever. I don't know who's. Anyway, by the way, one really horrible story, and then we're going to do. By the way, we are going to play Flounders for Funnies coming up here very shortly. We also are going to have a Skynet update with Pete. I think if he's ready to go. Oh, and the morning guys are
those guys
are enjoying the afternoon show. Apparently, clearly. In fact, Rhino, the Rhino, Pete, have we been able to track what he's been doing lately? The Rhino from the morning show.
Before breakfast, the Rhino floated an acre of redwoods down the Chattahoochee before splitting them into 100 cords of firewood. Wow. The amazing part is there are no redwoods east of the Sierra Nevada, and he still managed to do it.
The man's a giver. He's just for his neighbors. Unbelievable.
And right after he supervised the rising of the sun, Rhino, on his drive into Atlanta, the Rhino personally pollinated every wildflower in Union, Fannin, and Gilmer counties.
They're going to grow like weeds, my fellow Americans. Well, you can't. Those, they're, and Tog and Rhino, they're just wonderful bastards. That's all I can say. They're just beautiful bastards.
Quit calling them.
Well, no, I think Tug's got an over and under on the thing there. Anyway, it's always nice to have. Don't forget them in the morning because they're fun to listen to, and they're expanding until 10 o'clock now, which is really nice.
They're the OG of Extra 106.
They are the
original gangsters.
The original gangster, or the old guard, I guess you could do. One of the two. One quick thing. This is a horrible story, and I say it only because it makes me mad, and you should go hug your child right now. Cleveland, Ohio.
I'll make one.
Grand jury indicted a 31-year-old girl named Crystal Cantalario. She lived in her place with her two daughters and their parents, but they all went on vacation recently, and so did Crystal Candelario, the 31-year-old mother, who left her child to fend for herself. Unfortunately, her child was 16 months old. The 31-year-old mother went on a vacation to the beach in Puerto Rico and left her 16-month-old baby daughter in her crib by herself for 8 days. When she came home, she said, golly, this kid is really dehydrated. And then she admitted, well, yeah, I went on vacation there. She fessed up when she got home. The baby's pen was filled with soiled blankets, and the bottom liner was, you can imagine. Neighbors say this woman has often left the baby in the house by itself to go do something. She lives with her daughters and parents, went on vacation, so she did too. And the neighbors say, my God, she could have just knocked on our door. We would have said, well, watch her. I mean, anything. She just went on a beach vacation to Puerto Rico. I mean,
children, just children, no
murder.
Adults left.
I mean, it's unbelievable. But I mean, that's just mental. I mean, I don't get it. Anyway,
Never taught responsibility.
well, there's no explanation. I mean, it's even worse than worse she can think of. All right, hold on. We got some happy news, stuff news, funny news, and the Olympic Committee tell Leah to go shove her brains into her other part of her brains. 329 with a Kibber and Pete and Flounder on 106.3. Look out. It has a whole different meaning. I'm seriously. I got dizzy the other day. I'm thinking, oh no, I'm probably fine. You know. Anyway, so we feel bad for you, Shelley, and God bless you, my friend. Hope you're doing all right and find some peace very soon with happiness. 3:35 is our time. A quick birthday or two. The creator of Alias and Lost, and the director of a bunch of movies, Star Trek, Mission Impossible 3, J.J. Abrams is 57 today. Country singer Lori Morgan's 64, and a little hottie, little blonde hottie Julia Duffy from Newhart is 72 today.
Wow.
Yeah, I always had the hots for her. She was a little stupid, but sweet. Quick historical note, if you don't mind. Let's see. Oh, this was the day in 69. Greenwich Village, the Stonewall Inn, a gay bar, had a riot with the cops, and it was basically known as the start of the gay rights movement. In fact, we have a whole bunch of stories today on Pride Month and gay rights and the Leah thing. In fact, we'll do that here in just a moment. Here's our number, by the way, 404-741-1230, 741-1230. And Pete Davis and Flounder in the Kimmer, and if you'd like to chat about anything, every day's Open Line Friday. I know, people don't really call talk shows anymore, which is kind of because social media thing and apps and stuff like that, so that's cool. But we would love to hear from you. 404-741-1230, 1230. In fact, if you heard the Neil Bortz commentary this morning, holy smokes, he basically said, you MAGA Trump Republicans are going to ruin everything, and you're responsible for the country going to hell if he runs again and he's the news. Oh my God. Anyway, so, but that's what Bortz does. And again, somehow this is going to come to an end, and I don't know where we are. I don't know what's going to happen. There's no way I can predict, one, who's going to be the GOP nominee. I don't know who's going to be the Democrat nominee. Who does? But again, I don't know what's going to happen because of it. If it's Trump, is he an automatic? He can't beat anybody now because they hate him so much? Or is he going to rally the people because they're going after him? I don't know the answer. I have no idea. I don't think anybody could possibly figure out what's going on with this political season. It's the damnedest thing I've ever been experienced, and I've been a reporter for over 50 years.
If Biden's not the nominee, and he won't be, then it's all bets are off.
Yeah, and I'm saying, I've said for a year and a half or 2 years, Biden will not be. My opinion is he will not be the nominee, and I don't know whether they're going to finally get him. Although they're still, Did you hear the podium princess just yesterday said, "Well, no, the economy's looking great. The prices are down and jobs are up, and we're all doing great." And I'm going, "Whoa, wait a minute! What world are you living?" It's the damnedest thing. Anyway, here's 404-741-1230 if you don't want to join us. I had some other things I wanted to mention too. Flounder put my new songs on on my music stick. Really appreciate it for my ride home today. I'm very, very, very grateful. You can do that for me. I wish I knew how to do stuff like that. In fact, I don't want to know because I don't have to do it myself. All right. 3:38. Okay, just in. The two top Budweiser marketing executives who were placed on leave after the company shakeup with a Bud Light and the Dylan Mulvaney business. They were put on leave and now they're gone. Apparently, to my understanding, quote, says one source, we announced here's how they say it, the marketing people, Daniel Blake and Alyssa Heinerschneid, are gone, according to a text message. Quote, to my understanding, if we publicly announced the word fire, it opens up the potential for them to sue us. That's why we said leave of absence. They're still covering their butt. To be fair, the wholesalers would have had a heyday with leadership if we didn't remove her. To be fair, the guy was actually awesome. I think he was just caught in the crossfire, but he also hired her, and that's a fault. So apparently they're blaming the girl, the vice president of marketing. They're blaming the girl because she's the one who said, let me find the exact words here. She's the one who said she wanted the rainbow design with the words celebrate everyone's identity. She's 39 years old. Heiner Schneid lives in an $8 million apartment near Central Park. Was in a podcast recently. You remember seeing this? I remember seeing it with Bud Light's new marketing. She said the company has to update its fraternity image, and change its, quote, out-of-touch humor. And then there were images a few weeks ago showing the same girl when she was at a Harvard University social club event sucking beer bongs and sucking beer and stuff out of a condom. So she's done the party scene. So she's been the frat chick, I mean, come on, you're killing me. Drinking and holding condoms and everything, stuff like that. So, I mean, everybody kind of made fun of that, but now she's gone. And they're blaming her and the guy they really liked him, but they said he hired her, so he's got to go too. So they're both gone. I mean, geez.
They fired him because they can't just fire a woman.
Yeah. Well, but again, they're blaming him for hiring her. I don't know. They're a bunch of freaking cowards. I mean, just honest to God. I don't get anything going on. Is everybody just chicken livered? I mean,
well, not Troy Aikman, as you'll find out coming up in Holy Crap It's Sports. Troy Aikman is taking a stand.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I want to hear this because honestly, didn't we just find out that he's not gay?
Well,
no, I mean, I'm sorry. I guess I'm putting it the wrong way, but another way of saying I always thought he was gay. Everybody always thought he was gay. Everybody thought Troy Aikman was gay.
He didn't get married for a long time. He spent a lot of time in his Dallas
Nothing wrong with that.
Everything's fine with that. Look at Flounder, single, with a hot girlfriend, Veronica.
Yeah, his beard. And
and I'm not even asking you about how Veronica's doing, although, I can't help it. Have you played golf with her?
Not yet, because I messed my shoulder up.
Oh,
we were going to play this weekend, actually, and then that happened. So we're going to try and play the next week or two.
Now, you found out she's better than you.
She's definitely better than me.
Shoulder.
No, that's good, though. That's good.
She's definitely got a better swing than I do. She's a better golf player.
No, so have you hit balls together or anything?
Well, no, we went to Dick's this weekend, and because she had to look at a driver, and she swung it a couple times. And
wow.
So she's got a nice swing. Very pretty swing.
Outstanding. Well, if you ever want to go to the range on a weekend at some time and if you want to take her to hit balls or something,
absolutely.
I'd love to be there with you.
Let me get my shoulder healed and ready, and I'm definitely
Well, I'm
down.
happy for you. I think you got a great gal there. And I'm going to stay out of it. I don't want to, mess anything up here. Like I know what I'm doing. Oh, no, speaking of the whole gay thing, 342, by the way. And again, I've Flounder, get our comedy thing right. If you would, Flounder's Funnies, if we get one, I'm ready to go here. I'm just because we're going to
absolutely.
We're going to do something funny every hour. Try to do something with a comedy bit every hour. And also, in fact, we never followed this up. Remember our first week on, we said if you are a would-be stand-up comic, if you want to come in here on a Friday, we'll let her rip Friday for 20 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever and do a routine live on the radio in the studio. Come in here, get in here and go on live on the radio, and maybe your star is born. Or we'll laugh at you and make fun of you and you'll never be anything.
We're going to get a gong and put the gong show up again.
Yeah. So if you're interested, get in touch with. How do they get in touch with us here?
Flounder, how do they get in touch?
I know. Hold on, I got it right here. 3 ways. Our website is...
three-way.
I like the 3-way.
Our website is thekimmershow.net. Our Twitter is @KimmerShow. Rumble is The Kimmer Show Podcast. And which one more if they want to get in touch with you?
Well, my email account is flounder@extra1063.com.
There you go. Flounder at 1063.com. Extra1063.com. Excellent. Anyway, now here we go. This is pretty cool. You know, the Leah Thomas, the guy who wants to pretend to be a girl, who's actually been called out for walking around naked with his tallywhacker hanging around with other girls in the locker room. Anyway, the Leah Thomas, this fraud biological male who swims as a female and basically shattered pretty much every record in NCAA women's history, has now petitioned the United States Olympic Committee for a spot on the women's national swim team. The committee chairman, Joe Barron, to his credit, replied, quote, that's not an option, but you are welcome to try out for the men's team, unquote. Thomas was Leah, the girl boy, was slated to be the number one seed in all the competitions, but as a male, he would have had an uphill battle, placing about 7,000th out of the gate. A score more likely to get him a nice offer from a Catholic high school. He plans to appeal the decision to the International Committee. He said, it's not fair. All I want to do is prove... Oh, God, you know, I'd like to slap him in the face. Here's what he says. And again, violence would be wrong, although that's not true. I sometimes still have my Kimmer hats that say give war a chance, you know. Anyway, he says, it's not fair. All I want to do is prove to the world that someone who went through puberty as a man and then decided to be female is no different from a female. There's no way I could possibly be the extreme end of what should be a non-existent issue, but I refuse to see that dropping out might actually have been better for the trans movement than putting someone they were sure to use as the standard front and center of the debate. Holy cow, he wanted to prove that there's no... Oh, my God.
He is nothing more than a narcissistic bully who likes beating up women.
He's a psychopath and a fraud and he's an actor. I'm an actor. I'll be a female now. Oh, my God. I hold everything. It's coming up on your phone call. Steve, standing by. 345 with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder on Extra 106.3. $3.49. I don't want to kill her. I hate your guts. Blind my eyes. Here's a lovely ballad by Motorhead. Hold on, Scotty the window guy. Oh, man. You know, this is unbelievable. I will have to tell you, I have never actually heard a Motorhead song. I know I've heard a few seconds of a Motorhead song. I've never actually heard.
Listened all the way through?
No, like 4 or 5 seconds, and I'm going, it's mostly screaming to music. But what amazes me, I'm thinking of a Katy Perry song right now. There goes Amanda. Hi, sweetie. I love her so much. A Katy Perry song, and it says, you know, we're in the backseat making out to Motorhead. I'm thinking, how would you make out to Motorhead? I mean, you can make out to that song? Or you get your lip cut off or something anyway. On this day in I got to find my thing here. On this day, well, not my thing. On this day in 1981, Motorhead had their only British #1 album with No Sleep Till Hammersmith. It was live during a sharp pain in the neck tour. Was a reference to the injury sustained by Phil Taylor when he was dropped on his head during some after-show horseplay. Despite the title of the album, the London venue, the Hammersmith Odeon, was not played on the tour. I don't know what that means. Anyway, Motorhead 84. A couple of quick birthday action here. Tobey Maguire is 48 years old today. The OG Spider-Man, unless you count Nicholas Hammond. But Seabiscuit was his best movie, as far as I'm concerned. That's the best horse movie, way better than what's the other one that won all the Triple Crown things? Secretariat, yeah. Well, that was the acting was bad in that one, but the movie was great. But the Seabiscuit was a great movie and all the way around. Anyway, Toby's 48. Happy birthday. One historical note. 1844, a dispute over polygamy. A mob of monogamous Mormons attacked a jail in Carthage, Illinois on this day in 1844 and murdered Mormon leaders Hiram and Joseph Smith. And there was a dispute over whether to be polygamous or not. And, of course, we all know...
Bigamy. That's bigamy.
Yeah, that's bigamy. And Brigham Young then became head of the Mormons after they killed the rest of them. Okay, let's see what we got. To the phones. And then Flounder's Funnies coming up here in a second. First, it's Scotty the window guy. Hello, Scotty. How's it going?
Welcome home, brother. Simplified.
Thank you, my man. How are you and your sweet bride doing?
Doing fantastic. How you doing, boys?
What's up?
You guys doing all right?
Yeah, hanging in there. What's up, my friend?
Listen, how long before we see a guy from the PGA Tour that's just never going to cut it join the LPGA and become trans?
Well,
how long before?
I'm amazed no one's done it just to make a point of it. But again, I suppose they have. I don't know if they have different rules on their bylaws and whether this is a thing that could be challenged. In other words, at some point you're going to get to the point where just because you say, I think I'll be a girl, doesn't mean you can go do any girl thing that's normally traditionally for actual females. Otherwise, why wouldn't a 220-pound muscle-bound monster athlete guy start trying to out for the girls' softball teams and stuff? I mean, get scholarship to go to college with girls' team. I mean, this is nonsense.
It's already been done in tennis.
Well, yeah. Hell, remember Denise Richards? I mean, Renee Richards. Renee Richards in the 72 or 69 or something back then. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Scotty, I don't know. I don't have an answer for it. I don't know what to think.
Oh, well, why don't you just run for president and then you can fix everything.
There you go. I appreciate it. Thanks, Scotty. Oh, by the way, so a new guy just is running for president of the Republican Party. No one's ever heard of. Former Congressman Bill Hurd or something.
Who?
I know. Another one said.
Yeah, never heard of.
Yeah, but again, it's another guy. I mean, I've seen his name before. He was a former congressman. I don't have any recollection of anything about him other than I remember the name. And now he's running for president, along with the mayor of Miami. You're running for president. I mean, come on, you guys. I mean, somebody must be giving him money. How would you? The balls? And I think I'll run for president now. Okay, here's your money.
It's ego. It's all ego.
Well, they're obviously in for something else. They're trying to get a name so they can be on the cabinet or be named as a consideration for the. You know what? I mean, it's all. Oh my God, it makes me all sick. Thank God I'm not in that. Can you imagine being a politician? I mean, I can't. I literally can't imagine the crap you have to do and what things you have to.
Don't you have to raise $10,000 a week?
Yeah, they say it's all, especially in Congress, it's just fundraisers. It's 2 years, but the Senate's 6 years. But in Congress, you're just raising money all the time. Anyway, all right, 404-741-1230. Let's do a little Flounders funnies, shall we? A Flounder, a little one. Is this Drew? This is our buddy Drew. We found out. You want
to listen to Drew?
Sure. Well, whatever you want. It's Flounders funnies. You pick it.
Let's do Drew.
If you want. Well, now he had something else ready to go.
No, we still got 2 more hours, so we'll do Drew here.
All right, let's do
That's
Drew.
what she said.
There you go. Here's Drew.
Thought about you guys a lot. I said, the married people stuck at home, I want to be like them. I envy these guys. Some of you don't even dress yourselves anymore. You just wear the next clean shirt. I want that. Then I'm like, where do you go to find this wife? You can go to clubs or bars. I don't like going to nightclubs. Nightclubs are filled with single mothers and liars. There's a lot of single mothers in the club, and overall, single mothers are doing a good job, but the world is crazy, and you need to wait a while before you introduce these guys you dating to your kids. I went out with this single mother 2 times. I'm at work. The school called me to come pick up her son. You can't put my name on the list to come pick up your son. I only seen this dude 2 times in the dark at your house. They wear uniforms now. They got the same little haircut. I might pick up the wrong kid. Now this dude is on my backseat wheezing. I don't need that. But I'm scared. I'm not afraid to admit it. Marriage is a major decision. How many times in your life do you want to lose half your stuff?
Or all your stuff. Well, boy, I could tell you a story. Every woman I know wants to be my ex-wife. Let me put it that way. Sorry. God, you even got my roll-top desk. Well, 357 here on Extra 106.3. Thank you. Oh, you want to hear something else funny, Flounder? Get the dumbest woman on television. I love this story. Not only is she stupid for what she is trying to use as a point that makes any sense, she totally misses the point of the entire issue. We're talking about the idiot View, what do you call it? The girl sits on TV, Anna Navarro. The View, one of the View hosts, Anna Navarro, dumbest woman, perhaps dumbest woman on television. Here's what she says concerning defending the Hunter Biden and Joe story of a father's love.
The Hunter Biden story, the scandal, the this, the that, it's also the story of a father's love. And Joe Biden has never and will never give up on his son Hunter, and will never treat him lesser than. And so he is a father first. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Not much of a grandfather, though, is he?
That's part of his heart, she says. Columnist Nicholas Kristof, the New York Times. It's an example of how widespread addiction is, and the president displays the model of love that is needed. Navarro said, I've known Biden since he was a senator, 20-something years. He says, the right-wing troll machine got me trending, attacking me for saying this on The View. Imagine calling yourself the Family Values Party and being outraged. I'm talking about a father's unconditional love for his child. No, you're not, you dirty stinking liar. You're talking politics. His love for his child, he was in cahoots with his child for corruption and crime. That's not a love of your child. That's defending him so he doesn't turn on you. You think if Biden, you finked on a son saying, oh, he's been doing all that stuff, and then Hunter turns him in, and they both go to prison. I mean, give me a break. This is not the father's love for a child. It's the father covering his ass from his crooked son who got him those millions of dollars. And by the way, let's remember on Christmas time when President showers with daughter, who turned her into a sex maniac, at Christmas time in the Biden family, he hung a stocking for their dog. He did not hang a stocking for his granddaughter, the love child. that Hunter knocked up with a stripper who he then pretended he'd never even seen her, didn't know her, and got caught by a judge to give her back the money she was supposed to deserve, and then refuses to let her use his last name for her baby that he gave her. That's his kid. It's a direct descendant of the Biden family, and they won't even acknowledge that she is alive. She loves his son, doesn't love his daughter that much when he was showering with her, turning into a tramp. She blamed him for having sex with anybody who asked her. 4 o'clock. Give me a break, Navarro, you idiot, liar. God, slime pig. that if you're making a violent threat, in order to be charged and convicted of making a violent threat over the phone lines or media of some kind, you have to know that realize you're making a violent threat. In other words, you have to have an intent. The case was a guy who was mentally ill and didn't know he was making a violent threat to somebody who sued him anyway. So, well, that's pretty interesting. It raises the bar that you can't just, you have to add a little something extra. Well, here we go. Anyway, who is this, Bonham? Led Zeppelin, right? Look at the cover. It was on this day, 1980. John Bonham and Led Zeppelin appeared at Maisel Hall, Nuremberg, Germany, during their last ever tour in 1980. After the group, Led Zeppelin, had played 3 songs, drummer John Bonham collapsed on stage, and they had to cancel the rest of the show. Last show they did. Mercy. Let's see. Get rid of that thing with this thing here. Hold on over there. Quick birthday note. Madeline Sweeten. I've never heard of her, but I know who she is. 32 years old. Well, I know of her. Madeline Sweeten was the daughter, Ray's daughter, on Everybody Loves Raymond. Played the daughter named Allie. And her brothers were actually Sawyer and Sullivan Sweeten, her actual twin brothers on the show. And sadly, one of her twin brothers, Sawyer, committed suicide in 2015. Was only 19 years old. Mercy. Damn. That's pretty sad there. Let's see. This day, 1829, British scientist James Smithson died in 1829, and he left his entire fortune to the United States to establish the Smithsonian Institute. What a nice thing to do. Good heavens. All right, here we go. 404-741-1230. 404-741-1230 if you'd like to join us. A million things coming up here, including, President Patel, and by the way, this is Anna Navarro again. You know, every father, when my daughter Jennifer was a cocaine and heroin addict, and she was in jail a couple times, we didn't know whether she was dead or alive for a couple of years. I mean, we didn't stop loving her. We didn't stop saying, well, what can we do? We got to go find you. What do? You do everything you can. Of course, you love your child, and you want to help your child, and you think, what have I done, and what can give me a break, Anna, you idiot. Every father loves his freaking child. Give me a break. It had nothing to do with it. This is crime and corruption we're talking about. Stupid idiot. God, you're just stupid. What possible sense? Well, he loves his son. Well, duh, so what? It's got nothing to do with it. It's not the thing. Oh, God, I hate him. I just hate him. And now blaming Republicans for turning. We're not turning on you because, we don't care about a father's love. We're turning on you because you're stupid. And you're a political hack. And you're disgraceful and you're an anti-American liar. How about that? That's why we're turning on you, you big fat slob. Stupid idiot. God, how many things? I can't make up any more names. I'm running out of things to call that I can say on the radio. I hate these people. Well, you Republicans are turning the MAGA thing. God, come on. There we are, 406. All right, here's, is that Dan? It's Dan with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder on the 106 Extra 106.3. Hey, Dan, how's it going?
It's going great, Kimmer. Glad you enjoyed the obituary I wrote for you yesterday.
That was Dan, the obituary guy. I've still got it right here. In fact, I will tell you a minor story. By the way, we were all incredibly impressed. For those who have no idea what we're talking about, yesterday we read an obituary. Pete had mentioned last week, if you would like to write one of our obituaries, that's a fun thing to do, please do. And Dan did and wrote it in. And it was really, it was beautifully written. It was really well done. And you got into almost everything about my life. I can't believe that you haven't paid that much attention to what's going on or found it in my bio. I don't know, whatever. And one of the things you mentioned was my incident where a listener named Bill Sheehan invited me. He said, I've got Masters tickets for you to go see the Masters on Saturday. And I thought, oh, my God, that's great. So I called my golfing buddy, Danny McLefty, who's a member of the PGA, and they don't need tickets to go watch any thing. I know. I'm sorry if I got to tell the story. Anyway, so I went to the tournament. I said, Danny, let's go together. So I went with Danny, and then I felt bad because Bill was assuming I'd want to hang around with him the whole time. So I went off with Danny for a while and then went back. Anyway, he was such a great guy. And he called me last night, Dan, at my house on my cell phone, and he said, when he heard his name, he said, oh my God, the Kimmer's dead. So we faked him out for a minute, but he was very nice and flat. He said, I can't believe I heard my name on the radio with the Kimmer's obituary. Anyway, sorry to be dragged that out, but that was, we were very impressed. I still have it here in my little notebook, and I treasure it. That was really, really well done. I'm impressed. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm working on Pete's, but I guess the term low-hanging fruit comes to mind. It's not as easy, but I'm working on it.
I'm sorry, you're working on what? I
believe he's working on Pete's obituary.
Oh, Pete's obituary? Oh, excellent.
Yeah, try and make this one funny.
Like I said, there's not all the low-hanging fruit like there is with Kimmer, but I'll try and make it funny.
Yeah, the low-hanging fruit, all right, because I'm always doing something.
Like blackberry.
Anyway, Dan, thank you again. That was really a treat.
It was.
We appreciate you. Thanks for listening, my friend. You have a great day. 409 here with the Kimmer and Pete and Philadelphia. Speaking of idiots, and again, this is... Here we go. If you haven't heard it or seen the video, the other day, a day ago, whatever it was, there was a meeting with President Potato Head and the U.S.-India Technology Roundtable, and the President of India was there, Prime Minister India, rather, Modi from India was there, and there was a brief viral video clip where the president showers with daughter, seated next to Modi at a table full of people. And this is what your president actually admitted to.
I was just thinking, anyway, I started off without you. And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared.
I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared, unquote. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Carrie Lake and a bunch of people said, oh, my God, he admitted to treason. Well, apparently there was part of it that where he claims that was cut out and that he was just joking. He said, oh, no, I was just joking. But first of all, play the very beginning again. Does it sound like he's got his faculties all together? Flounder, if you would. Sure.
I was just thinking... Anyway.
I mean, unbelievable. The man's not competent. Biden claims he was kidding. They reached out for the White House for comment. And but, you know, other remarks, remember Biden, he said he's going to build a new railroad across the Indian Ocean. How do you think he's going to pull that off? Build a railroad tracks across the Indian Ocean. Hey, baby. Oh, mercy. Oh, a little pretty girl just walked in and waved to me. Oh, and smiled. Oh, I love you. I want to marry you.
Move along.
I'm sorry. You know, that's like dating. That's like a whole weekend. If a pretty girl smiles at me and waves at me, it's like dating for the whole week. I can live on that for the whole weekend.
I am going to sprinkle your blackberries with salt.
By the way, there used to be a thing called saltpeter. And they claim in the military they used to use it in boot camps, so that in all the boot camps back in the early 30s, 40s, 50s, I guess. I don't know if it was ever true or not, but it was very famous. Saltpeter was supposedly used to, whatever. Anyway, all right, it was 4:11 already. I can't believe it. Speaking of crooks and scoundrels, one of the top Democratic leaders in Congress, the head of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, notice the campaign committee is one that raises money. Well, the woman in charge of it is Susan DelBene from Washington, a Democrat from state of Washington. And she and her hubby just sold stocks worth almost $6 million because they found out about the Microsoft stock thing going on there. And you're supposed to report if you do something over $1,000 within 45 days. She didn't bother to do that. This is how they have corruption and graft in Congress, violating the Stock Act. And again, they turned down. They wanted to pass a bill saying no more congressional stock trading, period. And that didn't work. By the way, her husband had a senior role at the Department of Veteran Affairs. Hey, where's my money? And how about stop jerking me around to fill out all those forms I already filled out? We know that I had the cancer. I gave you my freaking documents. I gave you my records. I gave you my information. And you're still jerking my chain. And I'm not putting up with it. And I'm coming to get my information. And you better be ready for me. It's a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, 413. Hold on. We got everything. Stand by. Stand by. How's it going? It's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Pete Davis and Flounder, and Sutton's in the back there somewhere. 418 on 106.3 Extra 106.3. Remember, your safe house is the Atlanta Safe House. Don't do what the Kimmer did and didn't have a safe in time for my medical records over 20 years ago. Then I did get 2 safes from the Atlanta Safe House, and you should too. Keep your stuff, business safes, jewelry safes, gun safes. They've got it all. Ask about the Big Red Safe. Atlanta Safe House. Where do you find them? I'll tell you where you find them. AtlantaSafehouse.com. Bum, 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 dun, dun. This was a day in 1970. The newly formed Queen featured Freddie Balsera on vocals, then later known as Freddie Mercury. Guitar player was Brian May, drummer Roger Taylor, and Mike Gross on bass played their first gig on this day, 1970, in Truro City Hall, Cornwall, England. Queen at the time, on this day in 70, was billed as Smile, which happened to be the name of Brian and Roger's previous band. The booking had been made originally, and their original material included an early version of Stone Cold Crazy. And I don't know what that is. What's their famous song there, for Queen? Another one, Bites the Dust. And what was the other one? Bohemian Rhapsody. Those were the two that I...
This is Radio Gaga.
Is that what this is? Radio Gaga? Is that where Lady Gaga got her name, I wonder?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Anyway, let's see what I got. Here we go. No, I want to do that's a sports thing. I'll save that for Pete. Let's see. Am I out of my birthdays already? That can't be right. Hold on a minute here. All right. No, I don't want to do that one. I'll do that one. Here we go. Bruce Johnston. You know that name? This is amazing.
Beach Boy.
It's amazing. I never remember the names of the other than Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. Bruce Johnston is 81 years old today. I mean, he's been Beach Boys guy they founded in 1965. And in 1944, he was born. He's 81 years old. Johnson joined the band for 5 performances, filling in for the co-founder, Brian Wilson. He wrote Barry Manilow's hit, Write the Songs, sang on the recordings of Elton John's Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me and Pink Floyd and all kinds of stuff. Bruce Johnston is 81 years old. Oh, I think he's 79 because I got it wrong. Anyway, whatever. Okay, to the phones and to the calls and to the stuff. Now, by the way, we have another Flounders funnies coming up here a little later on today for you. But a couple of stories. I mean, I almost hate to start in on this, Pete Davis, because it's just creepy. 2 different stories about the Pride Month events involving naked men and children. State of Washington, City of Seattle Pride Parade. Male naked cyclists, bike riders, men naked, genitalia on full display, including 2 families with children. Naked bike riders washing off at a fountain in the town square where children are playing in the fountain. And the naked men are rubbing their tutukekos and their mikachekos right there with the little boys and girls. Congressman Representative Pramila Jalalapal says it's one of my favorite events of the year. I hope you join me. The Seattle mayor, Bruce Harrell, also a freak, says, boy, it was great to feel the love and the energy and the sunshine. It was great to feel the love and energy and the sunshine at the Pride Parade with the Seattle employees. Our diversity makes us stronger. Yes, when you can see grown men with their tallywhackers swaying in the breeze in front of little 4-year-old girls and boys, this is the kind of thing that really brings families together, don't you think? It's kind of the diversity that shows, well, that guy's got a big old schlunkada, and little boys and girls don't, but you can look at his and say, gee, I wonder what that is, Daddy. Oh, let Mommy describe that for you. Let's just look at it and enjoy. Oh, Daddy, doesn't he get his wangle stuck in the bicycle rim when he sits on that hard seat with no pants on? I mean, oh my God!
Why is it that if a heterosexual walked down a city street buck naked, they'd be arrested for public indecency, but because this is some kind of pride parade, they can do this naked in front of children?
Yeah. They say the pride marchers dressed only in underwear, twerking in front of the children, it makes them all stronger. And that's just one. I'm not even done with that one. One feminist shared a graphic video from the parade in Seattle where a naked man was being choked and whipped by another man in bondage gear. They, quote, performed a sex act in public as BDSM dominance and stuff. Flags were displayed during the family-friendly West Hollywood Pride Parade as well. A witness to the float informed the people that there were children in attendance, lots of kids present. It didn't make any difference whether it was Seattle or San Francisco. And wait, we're not done yet. In Toronto, the Toronto Pride Parade shows naked men standing around and riding bicycles naked in view of all the children who were there to enjoy the event. Fully naked bikers, some covered in paint. Naked man high fives an onlooker while another pedals a recumbent bike, which where you're laying on your back pedaling with a gold blow-up swan adorned to him. A group of naked men in one video with hats standing in a circle amidst the crowd, kind of a circle of jerks. Several children walked past the group of men with their families while the men were showing their rippity-bippities. Another clip, a person wearing, this is in Toronto, the Bud Light sponsoring this event. Bud Light sponsoring the event in Toronto. A guy wearing a giant penis costume that covers his head. It shows a young girl sitting in a stroller and staring at his phallic costume symbol. Gee, what's that, Daddy? Other videos show a group of naked men playing and rinsing themselves off alongside the fountain surrounded by children. Scantily clad dancers wearing fishnets, nipple stickers. Bud Light Canada has been a proud sponsor of Pride Toronto for 10 years. And this year we're commemorating this milestone with Pride Toronto by featuring them with our Bud Light can design as the official beer sponsor of the Pride Festival. Yes, Anheuser-Busch CEO says, well, we never intended to be part of a discussion that divides people. Too late. Sorry, ding dong. Horse got out of the barn there, Pally boy.
Pride Seattle had adult gays encouraging children to throw fake bricks at photos of Republicans such as President Donald Trump, Governor Ron DeSantis, Senator Ted Cruz, and others. The party of love, tolerance, and acceptance on full display, grooming future Antifa thugs.
Is there any other way to look at this other than trying to gain some kind of public acceptance, starting young, so that little boys and girls are not freaked out at some point in their lives when they see this sort of behavior, which is, by definition, grooming. Getting them ready for behavior later on in life so that you... and it works. It works. Remember the whole gay rights thing. If you 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, you couldn't even on TV, you couldn't have a man and woman, a married couple sleeping in the same bed. They have to have twin beds like in the Dick Van Dyke Show. I mean, and talk about homosexuality. Oh my God. There was no way that anything was talked about publicly. It was shameful, and we all know that stuff. And nowadays, finally there were events, and finally people realized, well, okay, this is the thing that's going on here. But this is different. I mean, if you're gay, if you're born gay, you're born gay. That's got nothing to do with child molesting. We are, nobody cares about gay. If you're gay, fine. I'm glad I'm not, and I feel bad. Honestly, I feel bad for people who are kind of troubled by it, and I'm glad I'm not you. I'm sorry, but I'm also supporting you for whatever you want to do. I don't care. Marry a guy, have a ball. Welcome to the misery like the rest of us. 30 years. So we don't care about gay stuff. It's just it doesn't make any difference. This is different. Grooming is not the same as being born gay.
They are creating an air of, I don't know,
acceptance.
Violence. Well, no, this is something else. They're creating an air of animosity by this stuff coming out that is turning off not only heterosexuals, but other gay people that may be a little more conservative than others. And it's creating this animosity that did not exist before this stuff came out.
It's more division. It's more splitting apart. I mean, our country has been split so many new ways. There are too many new categories. A quick phone call here. Philip, thanks for being with us today at 404-741-1230. Philip's on the horn. Yes, sir. Welcome aboard.
Hey, thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Just wanted to say real quick, the stories keep talking about children being present at these parades. Who brings their children to something like that?
Yeah. Liberals.
And again, Philip, that's even the worst point. If the families were to say, and I do not believe that the families who bring those children to these events are gay. I don't think that they're all trannies in their family. I don't think these families are tranny families or gay. They're just families. Why would they allow it?
They're Democrats. They're stupid. They don't care about their kids. They have no sense of responsibility for their kids. They're trying to get woke points. They're trying to be popular at their little get-togethers, their next wine-drinking thing in the neighborhood. They want to be popular. They're children pretending to be adults, and they're not even responsible for their own kids.
I don't get it. Philip, is there any explanation? Do you make any sense of this at all?
No, I was hoping that maybe you guys could shed some light, because taking children to something like what you're describing just makes no sense at all to me.
And it's not just, that they're men wearing women's clothing. If they're, humping and kissing and bondage and whipping and, oh, my God.
Well, if you think you've had enough of it, fake Admiral Rachel Levine, the mentally ill man masquerading as a woman,
wearing a dress.
Biden's Assistant Secretary of Health.
Navy Admiral,
has decided that several days a year, more than any other group, for Pride and LGBTQ is not enough, nor is an entire Pride month enough. Now Levine is calling for a whole season of Pride, a summer of Pride.
Before I lose my mind entirely, Philip, thank you for calling. I appreciate it. Thanks. You have a great day. Rachel Levine is a man.
Yes.
Rachel Levine is an admiral in the Navy who wears a freaking dress and high heels. You disgrace. You freaking fake. And they made him an admiral, and she was like Navy Woman of the Year or something. Oh, but this is so wrong. And we don't have to put up with it. They're forcing us to. I would never salute him. Disgrace. Rip his freaking epaulets off his shoulders and get rid of that fancy admiral's hat, too, by the way, the cover. Get rid of that damn thing. Anyway, guys, at 4:30 already? Holy criminy. Here we go. Look out. Stand by. duck, 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 dun, 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 dun. Look out, it's only me, it's only the Kimmer with a Grateful Dead. 4:33. 1970. It was the Transcontinental Pop Festival, better known as the Festival Express, started off. The tour was unique, and rather than flying to each of the cities, most of the acts traveled on a chartered train. Grateful Dead, here. Janis Joplin, the band, Flying Burrito Brothers, Buddy Guy Blues Band, all traveled together on the train, and they played shows along the way in Toronto, Winnipeg, Saskatoon, and Calgary. I love the Saskatoon. Anyway, the Grateful Dead. And people, later when they got older, they realized, boy, you really had to be high to listen to these people. Anyway, that's a whole other story. Okay. They said, God, that was what we used to listen to. Anyway, 2002, a sad day, John Entwistle, the bass player for The Who, was found dead in his room at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. John Entwistle was 57. Apparently had a heart attack because of too many drugs, basically. So anyway, there you go.
He was exposed to cocaine and women.
Oof, that'll do it. By the way, I mentioned saying hi to a pretty girl way by the window and stuff. That was the Rhino's wife. The Rhino, and by the way, he's got the full beard, and he looks about 10 shades darker. He must be suntanning at night or something too. And he's got the full mountain man beard going now. And the Rhino, he walked in with his beautiful bride, and she was the one who was walked by the window, and they came in to say hi. And he said they're going to the ball game, so they're over at the ball game. And he said, by the way, he was very flattered that you remembered to mention that he was pollinating all the flowers on the way to Gaines County or something. So after he showed the tour of Boy Scouts his collection of Olympic gold medals. Anyway, here's the number, 404-741-1230. Oh, by the way, this is, Flounder mentioned this to me, and I think we just had it on the radio a minute ago. This is National Pineapple Day,
I believe.
Pineapple Day.
Yeah.
Now, all right, let's ask the question.
Absolutely not.
404-741-1230. 404-741-1230. We don't have to talk about the newsy stuff all the time. It's National Pineapple Day. I love pineapple if it's sweet. I don't like pineapple if it gets a little sour. And for some reason, pineapple, I always thought was supposed to be sweet before you eat it. But there's half the time you get a thing of pineapple, and there's a lot of bitter ones in there, and I thought, what the hell is that? Maybe they're making pineapple different these days. I don't know. I love pineapple. There's very sweet pineapple. But if you put pineapple on a pizza, you're eating it alone.
Absolutely.
Well, it's fine with me. I'll pizza them for me.
So, Pete Davis, you actually eat pineapple on a meat pizza with other things on it, meat and sausage and all that stuff?
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
1984, our delayed honeymoon, we went to Hawaii, and we're driving around Oahu, and we get hungry and pull into a local pizza joint in the middle of nowhere in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Go in, and this smell that smells like ham cooking at Christmas. It was wonderful. And so I asked the cute little waitress, I said, what is that smell? She goes, oh, that's our specialty. It's pineapple pizza. It's Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah.
And they put ham on. I'm not big on it. I like ground
ham and
beef.
Pineapple go together for 200 years.
But I don't like it on pizza. I like ground beef, pineapple, and green peppers myself.
Oh,
but
my
I
God.
tasted that
disgusting.
pizza.
I'm going to throw
Yes.
up.
That's my go-to pizza. Ground beef,
pineapple, and green peppers. Oh,
green peppers.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Extra sauce. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll give you some
So
extra
to me,
sauce.
it's not only a great taste.
God.
It's a great taste, but it's a great memory. So it brings back very nice memories. So.
Yeah, heartburn, nightmares.
I love pineapple on beef.
Fiery anal seepage. I just can't.
What was that? That's the name of your group.
my next media company.
Your next album cover.
Yeah. Anyway, by the way, to the phones. 404-741-1230. Here is Steve. Steve, welcome aboard, Steve. Nice to have you with us. What's up, sir?
Great. Welcome back, Kimmer.
Thanks,
I have a great idea. I think to screw all this election stuff up, let Trump run on the Democratic ticket. Boy, that would screw it up.
How funny would that be if he entered the Democrat primaries?
It would really mess it up. Boy, I'd love it. I think it'd be great. He might really could win.
Well, you never, Steve. In fact, who do you think? Do you think he's going to be the nominee at the Republican Party? And if he he is, do you think he'll win?
I think he will, but I really don't think he win because the elections are so screwed up.
Yeah.
And particularly in Georgia. He doesn't have a prayer in Georgia.
Well,
this state's so messed up.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, buddy. You're the best.
Steve, thank you, Steve. Semper Fi to you, my friend. 438. Again, this is I have no predictions. I don't know what to think. What did you think about Bart's commentary? I heard it this morning. I thought, oh boy, here, because he said I'm going to make a lot of people angry.
Well, I went and quoted an NBC poll because you remember Hillary was winning all the polls by a landslide.
93% chance of winning the night before the election. Yeah.
But he has a good point. The fact that a lot of the independents, especially the women, either they hate Trump or they're tired of Trump, and they don't care what the facts are. Mm-hmm. They're just tired. It's Trump fatigue for them. And all those polls that from people I actually respect are saying that he doesn't have a chance if it's Biden.
Well, to me, the issue is actually very simple. The issue to me, in my mind, is I want to do what I want to win. I want to win. I want the Republican Party to win. I want them to win the White House, and I want them to win the Senate and the House. I want them to win the elections. Now, I have to decide before the nominee is picked, one, who do I want to vote for in the primary? Because if it comes down to the two major ones of Trump and DeSantis, which I assume is going to be the case, maybe not, things could change. I don't know. But let's say if those two are the two major ones.
Those two are the two major ones.
Thank you. So all together now. Then, thank you. Then you have to decide which one do you think will have which one you're going to vote for to be the ticket nominee. And the problem is, if it's Trump, do you think Trump will beat the other person in your heart? Do you think, the question you have to answer is, can Trump beat the Democrat, whoever it is?
Well, not with the way the laws are right now, because they can still steal the election.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. So then people are going to be maybe want to vote for Trump and don't like all the excess stuff and everything else, but they like what Trump did as president and think he'll do it again as president, but they're afraid he's not going to win, so they don't know whether to vote for him. Is it a wasted vote? Should we all just decide to vote for somebody else if you make the decision that Trump can't win? And again, that's the thing you have to decide. Do you think Donald Trump can win if you pick him for the nominee?
And it's the media that's telling you he can't win.
Right.
That's the problem.
So, and I don't want to do the wrong. I don't want to lose again. I don't want to be disrespectful. I mean, and again, Donald Trump, in so many ways, is half crazy for things. But he's one of the greatest presidents we've ever had.
That's right.
If we could get him back to be the president again, I don't give a damn about his tweets. He stood up for America. He did everything for America. He never did. I never, ever, ever got the feeling that he was doing something in the White House for himself. Unlike most other presidents or these Democrats, oh my God, I never got that feeling of Trump. He was always looking out for America. As much as a goof as he can be and saying stupid things that they misquote or turn around and use against him. I mean, we all know the issues. But as a president, the man was brilliant. He was tough and honorable, and he did the right thing for his country, despite what Georgia did to him to make the country go liberal because of Georgia's two senators. And if Trump is president again, by God, maybe he can turn things around again. But do you think he can win? And if he can't win, then why would you waste your vote and give it back to the Democrats? And again, I don't like that decision, and I don't feel like I should be forced to make it, but I don't trust anybody with anything anymore.
Well, try and make it this way. Do you want 4 more years of peace and prosperity? Because that's what we had under Donald Trump. Yep. Peace and prosperity, no new wars. Everybody had a job if they wanted one. Everybody had a job if they wanted one.
Especially blacks and Hispanics and women have never done better than they did under Donald Trump. Since they started keeping statistics in the 50s, black entrepreneurs, black business people, black families, and Spanish people and entrepreneurs and business people and families all did better under Donald Trump. We all did. I mean, and then the virus thing hit. But again, despite that, what he was doing was exactly the right thing. And if he gets elected again, I assume he'll do exactly the right thing again. Start over again, get rid of all the bums, and here we go, which is what we want. But again, if you don't think he's going to win, then maybe do you think DeSantis would beat the Democrat? And therefore, maybe I should vote for DeSantis as a nominee, because if I don't think Trump can win, I want to vote for the guy who will. So now I'm in a position, anybody's in a position of saying, geez, I think Donald Trump would be another great president once again, but if he's not going to win, am I going to give it to the Dems by not voting for DeSantis?
Well, you can tell MSNBC thinks DeSantis is a threat because yesterday all day they called him a fascist.
That'll do it. And they're picking on his wife. They want to destroy that family, destroy their reputation. Oh, I don't have an answer. Anyway, we'll ponder that. 404-741-1230. If you have an answer or what you're going to, in fact, have you decided what are you going to do? It's still a ways away, but you're going to have to decide, do you think Donald Trump can win? And if you don't think so, then should you vote for him? And how are you going to make that decision? How are you going to decide whether you think Trump will win? It's a gut check. It's just what you think and feel, and based on what? Social media, the news. I mean, that's impossible. Is this a Steve or is that a fake line here?
We're about to know here in a minute.
Oh, okay. The thing on the phone thing. What happens is when a phone calls in, it goes on to the white line. It
auto-generates to the name Steve.
It just picks the name Steve, and then when they screen the call, they actually put the name of the person on.
But
the
you'll
phone.
notice I have not hit the Steve button.
Thank you. Honestly, it goes right into my.
I miss it.
Literally, you can. Yeah, but holy crap, it's sports. Play it all you want. Anyways, well, we'll get his call in a second. A couple other things, and it's all kind of related to the leftist and what's going on with because of these Democrats. For example, in St. Philip's College in San Antonio, Texas. A professor named Dr. Johnson Varkey, who has been teaching human anatomy and physiology at this college for 22 years, was giving a lecture when 4 of his students walked out because he said that there are human teaching human reproductive systems. Human sex is determined by chromosomes X and Y, and reproduction must occur between a male and a female to continue the human species. Well, 4 students walked out, sued him, tried to get him fired, claiming he is engaging in religious, preaching, discriminatory comments about homosexuals and transgender individuals, anti-abortion rhetoric, and misogynistic banter. His teaching pushing beyond the bounds of academic freedom. His personal opinions were offensive to many individuals in the classroom. His personal opinion that there's 2 chromosomes? You idiots. All right, hold on. It's 4:45. Hold on. We got Chris. It's Chris coming up next. And also more stuff and more of this and some Flounder comedy, too. Stand by. Coming up. Stand by. Right, here we go. Ba-da-da-da-da. Look out, it's only me, it's only the Kimmer. Chris, coming right up, buddy. Hang on. Oh, here we go. Stand by. 4:52 now. 1967, this was the day. Mick Jagger was found guilty of possession of 2 drugs found in his jacket at a party given by Keith Richards. How did they find drugs in his pocket at a Keith Richards party? Cops go in and say, let me search you guys? I don't get it.
They had a complete wing of Scotland Yard that did nothing but follow the rockers around and try and bust them.
I guess. It was 67. They caught Mick Jagger at a party with drugs in his pocket. I mean, you had to go looking for stuff. Anyway, well, he was remanded overnight at the jail in Lewes. The prison number was 7856 was his badge prison number. And Mick Jagger, when they put him in jail, said, I'd like some books on Tibet, modern art, and 2 packs of Benson & Hedges cigarettes. Oh, my God, my mother and father used to smoke Benson & Hedges for a couple of years. They had the recessed filter, the cardboard. Oh, my God. I think it was Benson & Hedges, the recessed cardboard filter. And when I used to steal their butts to light up, they'd take 1 or 2 puffs on the puffs they put out in the ashtray. I used to hate those stupid cardboard filters. I used to like my Luckies. Anyway, right to Chris. Hold on. Quick history thing here. 1929. Scientists, 29, Bell Laboratory scientists in New York, reveal a system for transmitting pictures over the air in what's called television. And in 1931, 2 years later, Igor Sikorsky got a patent number 1994488, technology for the helicopter. To the phones, it's Chris on 106.3 with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Chris, thanks for calling. Welcome aboard, sir. What's up?
Oh my God, you're still alive!
I can't believe it myself. I thought it was just an Alpharetta.
You were dead like 20 years ago.
Well,
I've been listening to you since you first got on the radio, and you're still alive.
I can't believe it myself.
I've listened to you since you first got on the radio.
You're very kind.
Really?
So welcome back.
Thank you.
But I want to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure, absolutely.
What about Nancy Haystack? Get her back.
Nancy, I haven't seen her, talk to her in years and years and years. She was our producer, and when we used to go into work in the afternoon before the show, and I would basically go into her office, and we'd talk about things that were going on and laugh at what's happening today, and that was my show to put together. That was the first thing we did every day. Yeah, she was a long time, worked with us for a very long time years ago. God knows what she's doing now. I have no idea. Got 14 kids, last I heard.
Well, the newsmaker line's gone too.
Oh, that was, he ditched us. He didn't want to be part of the thing, and so good riddance.
I hate to interrupt, but I don't want to diminish Pete, because Pete is your best thing that you've ever had.
Oh, I promise you, I would not be doing the show without Pete Davis. I would not. I would if they said, I would not do the show without Pete Davis or Flounder, by the way, or either one of them. I said, in fact, I told him we had discussions about this long. I said, I'm not. If you're talking about the three of us, or I'm not coming.
Okay, well, I want to tell you something, Kimmer, that I'll try to make this quick.
All right.
I'm 59 years old.
All right, sir.
My brother, 63,
all right.
Died 9 years.
I'm sorry?
He passed away 9 years ago from leukemia.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And we listened to you from your first day in the Atlanta area. We were living in Kennesaw and Canton and stuff. We listened to you from your first day. And we would get home from work. He worked at the beer brewery, and I worked at the aircraft manufacturing place. I'm not going to mention
That's all right. Cool.
But anyway, we would get home from work and just call up each other and just laugh our ass off on your show. So, I mean, that's how massive your show was.
Well, the problem is there are people who have never heard of us before going to say, gee, what did they do back then? It was so funny. But it's all good. Thank you very much, Chris. That's very kind. Yeah, we've been around a long time. 457 with the Kimmer and Pete. Oh, by the way, what the hell was I going to say? Oh, darn. I wrote it down, and now I can't find it. Flounder just reminded me of something, and now I can't remember what the heck I was going to do. A couple things that are before we're coming into a break here in a second. They picked the new line. The new lineup for Fox Television. Jesse Waters got the 8 o'clock slot, which is nobody else they could put in there. It's not going to work like Tucker did, but still. Oh, and speaking of Tucker, the story came out that he was suing Whoopi Goldberg for $1 billion. We have the true skinny on that Tucker suing the Whoopi story coming up here in just a short order. Also, the 10 best TV shows of the year so far. And speaking of TV, Ryan Seacrest is now the official new host of Wheel of Fortune, which I guess fine means Ryan Seacrest. I mean, what a story he's done with his life, huh? Just a kid, was he from Alpharetta or Gainesville or someplace?
No, he's the most important person to ever come out of Dunwoody. Let's put it that way. Most successful.
It's unbelievable, this guy, and he's I guess just a nice guy, kind of a broadcaster and a talented fellow who meets people and people like him, and off we go.
He can read.
I mean, it's really that simple, isn't it? He's just a nice guy that people like, and he's enjoyable and charming, and
used to hang out at the Orange Julius at Perimeter Mall.
Anyway, he gets a Wheel of Fortune, and they're saying he's one of the best hosts of all time. They compared him to Bob Barker, who I was on his show a couple times. Bob Barker, but also I thought one of my favorite going back was Gene Rayburn. You ever see Gene Rayburn? His match game was one of the greatest TV half hours on television. And he had great guests on and trying to play anyway. That was kind of cool.
I was a kid and didn't get half the inside Hollywood jokes, but it was still funny.
It was still funny. Let's see. Coming up. A Penn State professor, Penn State University, is suing Penn State for race discrimination after they claimed that he was teaching the English language, which was basically just white supremacy. So they singled him out, ridiculed him, and humiliated him, and trying to get him fired. And he's suing because they say teaching English is white supremacy, and you white teachers are a problem. Good grief. 5 o'clock coming up. Holy crap, it's sports. We got Skynet. We got tweets. We got it all. We also got more flounders, funnies. Next, 5. Have it, Herb. Look out. It's 5:03 and it's only me. It's only the Kimmer on Extra 106.3 with Pete Davis, sidekick producer and sports raconteur extraordinaire, and the mechanical mangler Philander at the controls. And Sutton, our intern trainee, is learning all the ins and outs in there. And coming up today, we got Holy Crap at Sports. I didn't get to Skynet. I didn't get to do Pete's tweets. And Holy Crap at Sports is all. Plus, we got a couple of Flounders funny standing by and actual newsy things and topic things and the goofy stuff and whatever's on your mind. Every day's Let Her Rip Friday, even though this is a Tuesday, because we if you want to call us for talk about anything, we'd love to take your call. 404-741-1230, 741-1230. I know people don't make phone calls anymore because of social media and digital things, stuff like that. But, just for the record, we like kind of the old-fashioned stuff. Also, coming up, whether a woman who hates men for all the times they've been hitting on her gets on a train, very crowded, starts getting very crowded with every stop like a subway train, and she has her bag on the empty seat next to her and won't move it. What do you think? Yes or no, good or bad? Also, enhancement for Olympics. We'll talk about that with Pete coming up in sports here in a second. And a whole bunch of things, including the latest on the Jeffrey Epstein death. They're still claiming it was a suicide, and they mentioned a couple of reasons why it was allowed to happen. Some changes at Anheuser-Busch for good reason. Also, Leah Thomas still pretending that he's a girl, and that's not going to go over with the Olympic Committee. And naked cyclists and pride things. We got all that kind of stuff like that, too, with the Pete Davis. And also, a couple things. Let's see. What the heck? Oh, I know. I forgot. I mentioned a thing I forgot yesterday. Earlier in the show was the Skynet, which I never got to because there's something new every day, and it's getting sillier and goofier. We'll get to in a second. Also, holy crap at sports with Pete. Did you just quickly before that? Did you get a chance to watch any of the College World Series last night? The final game.
I did not. I watched the Braves game instead.
Okay, I didn't know whether you got your TV set up there in the Macon Mountains or anything. But anyway, a quick lesson, boys and girls, because if you saw the game Sunday, again, it was a 3-game series. The first game was LSU, and they were supposed to be the number 1 seed and the greatest college game and so forth. And then all of a sudden, Florida comes back and creams them with like 1 million runs in the second game. And so I'm thinking to myself, oh, man, Florida just showed that they're going to wipe the floor with them on the third game. And it was just the opposite. Let that be a lesson. When to total surprise, every day is different. That's why I hate when sports guys will say, well, the Florida Gators haven't beaten Tennessee in 19 years. Well, what's that got to do? 19 years ago doesn't mean anything. Those players aren't the same on the same day. Anyway, whatever. We'll get to that. And again, I've retired from the Love Doctor. I've decided that it's not fair. I got Pete Davis. Again, if you would respond to the people, some of the comments I had from Friday when I was talking with our friend Amanda, and I've decided because of some of the feedback, some of these people don't like me, Pete. I've got a little upset.
Yeah, let's see. One says, I don't want a 2-time loser in love.
Trying to help.
Give me tips on dating.
Trying to help Flounder and Veronica to make sure that he's, teach her with respect and sweetness and gentleness. And, anyway, God, yeah.
And my favorite is the gentleman from Noonan who wished to remain anonymous. Says, I am befuddled how Kimmer's dating tip segment has not been named Just the Tip with Kimmer. You creep.
I got a lot of creepy comments. And in fact, I went to Amanda when I came in and I said, sweetie, I'm so sorry if you got ripped for being on my show Friday talking about dating and, relationships and stuff. She said, no, it was great. I'll do it anytime. I said, well, I got creamed by it. They're calling me a creepy old man the whole time. All right, it doesn't matter. That's all over with. That's just for the official announcement. Okay, the report is out. Jeffrey Epstein, they're still claiming it was suicide. He was awaiting trial. This was August of 2019. That's 4 years ago. Does that seem right? It's unbelievable. 4 years ago. And there's no evidence to contradict the designation of suicide. The report is a 128-page report by the Department of Justice and found that there was negligence that created in a situation that allowed him to kill himself. Ghislaine Maxwell, who was his link to everything, says she thinks he was murdered still. A month before his so-called suicide, Epstein did try to hang himself. He was caught with an orange cloth wrapped around his neck. But here's the thing. Epstein first told the prison staff, I think my cellmate tried to kill me. Later, when they said, oh, really, let's find out more about that, he said, well, I really don't know what happened. Okay, so that seems a little strange that he blamed the roommate at first and then didn't want to say so. Spent 1 day on suicide watch and then cleared him to go back to his cell. Got rid of his roommate. There was significant job performance and management failure. No surveillance faulty system wasn't working in that one wing. He was allowed to place a phone call unmonitored the night before, claiming he was talking to his mother when he was not, which meant he might have been trying to set up something. That night, he might have been saying, okay, it's on 10 p.m., whatever. There was no security. The guards fell asleep, didn't do their rounds until 6:30 in the morning, and that's when they found him hanging from his bunk.
Kimmer.
Yeah.
Is there something new to this story than when you did it 30 minutes ago?
Well, and it wasn't 30 minutes ago, but I want to make sure if I have to update the people.
You just teased 5 things you were going to talk about, and then you went back and talked on a thing you talked about 30 minutes ago.
Well, it's a little confusing because I just, I got stuff here and I got stuff there. Let's do a quick thing. It's already 9, almost 10 after 5 already. Holy smokes. And Pete will be coming up in about 3 or 4 minutes. The two top Anheuser-Busch marketing executives responsible for the Bud Light fiasco are no longer on leave. They're gone. A released text said that the president and vice president for marketing and the assistant vice president, whatever, the two tops are gone. If they publicly announce the word fire, it would open them up to potential for them getting to sue the company. That's why they're saying they're on leave of absence, but they're not here anymore. And actually, they're saying the head guy, was really a good guy and a really terrific fellow, but he made the mistake of hiring the girl, and the girl Heinerschneid, the 39-year-old chick who was at the Harvard Social Club sucking beer out of a condom on video from her college days, claiming that the image of Bud Light was too fratty, and his change was out-of-touch humor, and so she tried to make it more like she thought the people wanted, so they fired both of them. So they're both gone. And update on Leah Thomas. I don't think I mentioned that a couple of minutes ago, so I'll try to work that one in here because it's the top of the story.
Actually, we did cover that.
Oh, my God.
You had a bunch of new stories you're going to talk about there.
Well, all right. Well, let's do this. Well, hell, I don't know. I told about the crowd. Well, then I want to talk about the Olympic game thing, but I don't really care. People care about, we'll do Tucker's $1 billion lawsuit. Here we go. Modern view, and then we're going to do Pete's tweets here coming up in just a minute, Pete, if you could get ready for that, if you don't mind. Tucker Carlson, here's the story. Tucker Carlson and Whoopi Goldberg are going at it. Apparently, the word is that Tucker Carlson's filing a $1 billion lawsuit against Whoopi Goldberg for dehumanizing remarks. According to his attorney, they talked about Tucker Carlson as though he was some kind of white supremacist or stooge for the Russians and a suck-up to anybody right-wing enough to earn the most dollars. They say the accusations are unfounded. The man's a patriot, deeply cares for America and its future. Does he exaggerate and maybe add stuff here and there for entertainment? Sure, of course he does, but he's an entertainer, so what the heck? And that was the story. Well, guess what? It's another liberal trick. And by the way, this is, speaking of AI, they're talking about how artificial intelligence and all this GBT stuff is going to affect the election coming up. And you can see parts of it right here. Did Fox former host Tucker Carlson file a $1 billion lawsuit against Whoopi Goldberg? No, not at all. It was published by Dunning-Kruger Times, which is one of the several satire sites run by a guy named Christopher Blair, who describes himself as a liberal troll. Everything on the website is always fiction. By the way, when the news was relayed to Whoopi, the audience cheered and the hosts performed a wave in support of Whoopi Goldberg. Host, the dumbest woman on television, Anna Navarro, asked everybody to join her in singing the pop song by Steam, Nah Nah Hey Hey Kiss 'Em Goodbye, on The View, and there was no legitimate report of it whatsoever. But again, they're having more fun with it, and again, it's all fake stuff and AI stuff, and I don't know where we're going with it, but it's too confusing.
Now there's fake stories about the fake stories that AI's coming up with.
Well, it's all yours in a minute, Pete. We're going to do Holy Crap at Sports and some related stuff, including we'll do some related Skynet stuff and tweets and the whole deal. Coming up next, 5:13 with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder on Extra 106.3.
So we're going to get to it.
And dropped undefeated Michael Spinks in 91 seconds to defend his title. The national anthem took 2 seconds longer. And now, holy crap, it's sports with Pete Davis.
Why don't we hear Ronald Acuna smash? We got that going there, sitting around, floating around.
We'll find that for you.
Acuna,
We got baseball.
Ray, something we talked about earlier.
Yeah, in fact, we found the Rhino and his lovely bride were here today. They're on the way to the ballpark to see the game tonight. Is it Minnesota again tonight? 2 nights?
Yes, it is. 2 nights. Two more nights. But I'll forget it. We'll do something else. Braves beat the Twins in Truist Park Monday night. Finally, it was not a one-run game. 4-1, the final. Spencer Strider, 7 strong innings, 1 run allowed on 3 hits, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts. He beat veteran right-hander Sonny Gray, who was spotted that 1-0 lead in the second. Joey Gallo, today's version of Dave Kingman, Sky King, slammed a solo shot over the center field wall, but that's all the Twinkies would get. Their first ever appearance in Truist Park, which is kind of surprising. And, of course, Ronald Acuna Jr. had a 2-run dinger in left center to put the Bravos up 4-1. Kirby Yates got the save. Marcell Ozuna got a solo shot. Bryce Elder supposedly on the mound tonight against Minnesota. Freddie Freeman has been in a slump recently, but he did get hit number 2,000 Sunday, and the Dodgers lost to the Astros.
Yes,
he's the 8th player to reach that mark in a Dodgers uniform. He's also the 98th player in baseball history to get at least 300 homers and 2,000 hits. But what ESPN failed to mention in their little story was Freddie getting the great majority of those hits in a Braves uniform.
That's right. That's right.
Alden Gonzalez failed to mention that rather important nugget of joy in his little piece for ESPN, which begs the question, do you think old Alden would have forgotten that if Freddie had played most of his career in L.A.?
It's typical. They still hate us. You can win the World Series and be, they still hate us. Yeah.
They suck. 3 days after the Angels got him from the Mets, infielder Eduardo Escobar was placed on the restricted list yesterday. Now you're thinking, why? What do you do now? Well, Escobar is scheduled to take his United States citizenship test today in Miami.
Outstanding. God bless him. If you want to become an American and an actual citizen, then we're all in favor.
It's been confirmed he passed it.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Excellent. Congratulations. God bless America. Welcome aboard, my friend.
Good. Well, he had to leave the Mets to come.
Well, that's true. He might be with the Mets in New York,
College World Series, as we talked about, LSU began the season unanimous #1, and they end the season #1. They bounced back an 18-4 victory, had a record 24 hits. It's their 7th national championship in program history. That breaks a tie with Texas for the 2nd most all time. I forgot to look up who #1 is, so you got to think maybe it's Texas. We just said Texas. How about Southern Cal or Arizona State? Maybe Mississippi State, maybe?
Somewhere in Oklahoma. What's in Texas or Oklahoma, I'm thinking back. I don't know.
No, we just mentioned Texas. No, they're #2.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
All right. Let's see. College football. Jim Harbaugh's Michigan football team continues to prepare for the upcoming season, and the Wolverines have added an interesting motivational tool to their practice.
What's that?
In addition to having a Beat Ohio State chant, they have added Beat Georgia. too.
Oh, no kidding. Michigan did? No kidding. Well, of course, my son-in-law, Sarah's husband, Dan, is not only a graduate of Michigan school, but also Michigan Law School. And they get together. This is how what a great couple they are. They get together, and Dan says, okay, honey, I want to go. I'm going to go to the Michigan game on this date, and this date. She says, okay, fine. You go ahead and do those games, those things. And then we'll do boom, and they work it out because they don't fool around. They are huge Michigan fans. And of course, now with me in Georgia, it ought to be interesting this fall. So that's pretty cool. Excellent.
It's absolutely amazing to me how you can take any story and turn it around. No, wait a minute. Turn it around to talking about Dan.
It's always a Dan at the end of the story.
Dan. ESPN Sports Center anchor Sage Steele has sued the parent company Disney in April, alleging the corporation punished her and took away her free speech rights when she made comments about the Chinese scamdemic vaccine and about Barack Obama's no-good communist father. But I repeat myself.
Yes.
Steele made those comments on Jay Cutler's podcast, saying that ESPN took her off prime assignments afterwards. She also came out against trannies playing against real females in sports, and that has not made her very popular in Bristol's woke, crazy campus. Guess how much money Disney is offering her to shut up about this?
Oh, they wanted to stop. Oh, my goodness. $400,000.
Higher.
$700,000.
$501,000.
Wow. Well, that sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Then she's already been quoted. She already said what she wanted to say. Okay, yeah, I'll say what I want to say. Now pay me the $500,000. I'll shut up. I mean, wait a minute. She said what she wants to say. What she's done. All the reporters are covering it, and so her word gets out. And now they're going to pay her $500,000 anyway. That's good.
But how many men out there would pay $500,000 just so she would shut up about
just to
something?
Shut up? Yeah, that'd be good. By the way, her name's Sage. Isn't that the name of the girl I love in the Olympic or the gymnast, Sage something or other, whose daddy was her coach, and she's an Olympic champion, won gold medals and stuff. Just gorgeous chick. Arizona, I believe she's from Arizona.
So the other day, a man was fishing in a boat in the Everglades National Park down in Florida.
Yeah.
They're fishing for snook, which I guess is a type of fish.
Yeah, it's a snook.
They were doing a good job of it, despite the sharks eating some of their catch right off the hook as soon as they caught it. After one catch, a fisherman decided to wash his hands off in the muddy water. This is what we surfers call a mistake. The shark, which was a lemon shark of all sharks, mistook his hand for a snook, grabbed it, and pulled him right out of the boat and into the water. It's a viral video. You can see it.
Yeah.
Several screams later, they heard people screaming, "Get back in the boat." They do. They pulled him back in. They took him to shore, airlifted to a hospital. No word yet on how bad the bite was, but, they worry about infection and stuff like that. Now, the first reports had it as a deadly bull shark. But luckily for him, you can see on the video, it is indeed a lemon shark, who are not known as man-eaters or even man-nibblers.
Yeah.
That's why we were never too concerned with surfing off the Ocean Beach Pier at night in San Diego, even though you could see the lemons circling under your dangling feet, because the sharks were just curious. But one night, I'm standing on the pier looking down, and there's a guy sitting there on the surfboard, and this huge lemon shark was swimming underneath him, getting closer and closer. And I decided, you know what? I don't think I'm surfing at night anymore with that sucker out there.
What are the chances? I mean, just that you can see him, and you say, well, he probably won't bite me because we think it's a lemon shark. What if it, come on.
Let's see. Pro Football Hall of Famer Troy Aikman has called out beer brands who slapped the American flag on its cans to promote the 4th of July weekend, and they are based outside of the country, and he says it's un-American. He is the owner of 8 Elite Light Lager, which is brewed there in Austin, Texas, and basically said, "This weekend we celebrate the birth of our great nation. I am so proud to be an American. I look forward to celebrating with good food, great friends, and of course, ice-cold beer." But there are a lot of beer brands out there that are trying to cash in on this holiday by slapping a flag on their package. They are not truly American, so this July 4th, drink American, whether it's 8 Beer or any other American-owned beer brand.
Well, I don't blame them. If foreign beers are trying to get Americans to buy the beer based on a flag on their beer, although if they're really truly saluting America for our which I doubt, so I don't blame him. I think that's good for him.
And finally, on this date in 1911, June 27th, at the start of the 7th inning up in Boston's Huntington Avenue grounds, Stuffy McInnis got into the batter's box, even though the pitcher was throwing warm-up pitches. Back then, you could do that. You could just get up there and watch him pitch and everything. Except this time, Stuffy stuck his bat out there and hit Ed Carger's warm-up pitch into center field for an inside-the-park home run.
Was the ump around at the time? I mean, he must have been standing there.
There was no rule against doing it at the time.
I'll be damned. Wait, in 1918? Is that what you said?
Let's see. Oh, gosh, what year did I say this was? June 27th.
Oh, sorry.
Hold a second.
It doesn't matter.
It was 1911, I believe, is when it was.
My bad.
I think it was 1911 in there. But yeah, so they had to change the rule after that to keep people from... Of course, remember a few years ago in the World Series, it was Johnny Bench was calling to walk a guy on the 4 pitches, and he got a little too close to the plate with one of them, and one of the Oakland A's actually stuck his bat out there and hit the ball, I believe.
I kind of have a vague memory of that. I don't know whether he got away with it. But
he got away with it because you can do that. You can swing at the ball.
Well, of course, now the change is they just say go to first base. They don't even throw the ball to you.
That's true.
Just take your walk. Pete, how do you feel about an Aussie businessman who wants to have enhanced games, an Olympic spirit games without any drug testing, and he wants athletes to be able to pump up with anything they want? any kind of doping, any kind of chemical enhancement. If you want to put it in your body to be a better athlete, go right ahead. You can use anything you want. He says, we're going to obliterate every world record. There's a website featuring a video purporting to show the fastest man in the world breaking Usain Bolt's 100-meter record by a mile. He said the world isn't ready for this guy. The website invites fans to watch him compete at the 2024 Enhanced Games. He says the International Olympic Committee is trying to vilify enhanced athletes. The concept is morally correct. The games will comprise 5 categories: track and field, swimming, weightlifting, gymnastics, and combat sports. They don't know where they're going to hold them yet, and at what time next year. Somewhere they're lining up to condemn the enhanced games by the critics of the Olympic Committee. This is in Australia. The Olympics people, we need to be clean. It needs to be safe for all. But how much fun would it be? What if you said do whatever you want? It's your body. If you want to put it in, you can now. You can do it now. It's only if you're in part of a system where they have rules that says you can't. There's nothing to stop me from taking 9,000 milligrams of testosterone every 20 minutes if I want to. You can do whatever you want to your own body. So why not? I think that'd be fun as hell. Of course, half of them probably explode. Their kidney come flying out of their chest cavity, in a 100-yard dash, and then the head would collapse into itself or something from all the drugs. But how funny would that be to see guys so fat, could jump 9 feet over? I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be pretty funny. Dangerous as hell.
A great TV event to be. They all look like Bane from the Batman movies, where they pump up the chemicals.
It'd be unbelievable. And hell, why not do this? Why not have all other kinds of unusual enhanced sports like volley paintball instead of volleyball, paintball volleyball, where you get to shoot the opponent on every spike, or full contact golf. Where a guy can come up behind you while you're taking your backswing or something. I mean, anything goes. It's all. What's the difference between that and modern day reality television?
Should we do Terry Crews, Office Linebacker?
By the way, that's still my favorite series. Well, one of my favorite, the Trunk Monkey and the Office Linebacker commercials are two of the greatest that have ever been done. Oh my God, I'm out of time. Sorry, 5:29. We'll be back, Mark. We got comedy stuff. I swear I'm going to do it all. And I also didn't get the Skynetter tweets. Well, again, I promise it's coming. It's coming. It's not working. 5:33. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Pete Davis and Flounder at the controls, along with Sutton in the background there. 1966. The Mothers of Invention released their debut studio album, Freak Out, on Verve Records. Got to remember Verve Records? Often cited as one of rock music's first concept albums, the album is a satirical expression of frontman Frank Zappa's perception of American pop culture and the nascent freak scene of Los Angeles. Also one of the earliest double albums in rock music. Of course, he's seeking out the satirical expression. Hell, his kids are Moon Unit and Dweezil. So the guy's got a sense of humor. Anyway, a couple of historical things there for you. It's a Kimmer and Pete and Mechanical Mangler Flanger. 1985, the Supreme Court ruled on a Connecticut law that said workers have the right to take the day off of their religious holiday. Trying to keep it neutral. Unfortunately, there were actually a religious group called the Colander people, where they keep the lettuce
spaghetti.
Yeah, the spaghetti colander people, and they actually wear them on their head, and they have a religious, and they are a certified religion.
Yeah,
unbelievable. Let's see. Oh, 1964. Now, if you're an older person, you know the famous names in Hollywood and stage and screen. Ernest Borgnine and Ethel Merman. A show business life. Ernest Borgnine and Ethel Merman got married on this day in 1964. It lasted 38 days. Which is another reason why I'm retiring as the love doctor. I'm not giving any more advice to Flounder and Veronica, although I might occasionally slip in. But I do want to hit some golf balls. I'd love to do that. Would be fun.
I got something better.
Okay, even better. Oh, even better? Look out! Oh, my God! Skynet is here. It's here. 5:35 with Pete Davis.
Carbon robotics. Ever heard of carbon robotics?
Carbon robotics. I do not know what that is.
They are shipping their product around the country. It's called a laser weeder. And before you think, oh, my God, I don't have to weed my little garden anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it's basically for large farms. It's a machine that uses lasers to rid your field of weeds. No more going out with a hoe like we did when we were kids. We had to go out in the peanut patch with a hose and weed them out with our hands.
I used to, when my grandparents' house, we used to pick the green bees and all that stuff and you had to get all those weeds out of there. We had our little gardens. Our folks made us have gardens as little kids, too, and we had to make sure we weed and get the rocks and the weeds. Holy smokes.
They're going to use AI, and they call it laser weeder. It can eliminate 200,000 weeds per hour. It's a 20-foot wide unit. They drag it behind the tractor. 30 lasers shoot out of this thing. It looks like a camper you're pulling behind you. It does the work of 70 people.
Does it? How does it identify a weed as compared to part of the root of the crop or whatever?
They teach it. It's something called a neural net, which teaches it how to learn, and it decides how big the weed is, how thick the weed is, and whether to zap it. And then it zaps it.
And it probably does that in a 19 millionth of a second, too.
Right, and no harmful herbicides, no chemicals, nothing like that. He says you don't have to have people out there pulling weeds anymore.
Well, obviously that's got to be great. You would think that every farmer would say, oh, my God, I can't get to one of those. Of course, it's probably $700,000.
Oh, yeah.
Not available yet. But still, so you got to think, boy, this AI, again, every day there's something about artificial intelligence that says this is really good for us, America. We really need more of this. This is going to save a lot of people and jobs and food and everything else.
The guy who did it says, look, everybody's doing stuff for city people. Nobody was doing anything for the farm people and the people out in the hinterlands. He says, this is something that I grew up with and I'd love to see, and my grandparents could have, used it too.
Yeah. Didn't we have something related like a watering system where now it can identify on its own? I guess they can do almost anything to take care of crops. You're not going to need. Maybe this is a good thing for family farms. If they want to have a family of 4 can run the farm, they don't need a crew of 30.
If you can keep Bill Gates and the Chinese from buying all the land,
Man, that's scary. I love it. Any other AI Skynet things here, Pete?
A million, but we'll get them to later on this
because we
week.
still have, we got Pete's tweets. We still got it. Now, I'll do
Pete's tweets?
If you would like to. And we got comedy, but we're going to do a comedy bit next. I've been teasing it, and it's coming up next. But first, it's Pete's tweets.
I've noticed a lack of, follow-up the teases to the...
Something's going on here. I got crap all over the place. I can't find my things. And things are going to happen once in a while with the system we have here. That's just the way it's going to be. So that's just the way it's tough.
Joel tweets, I'm loving the show, keeping me sane.
Well, they've come to the wrong place.
It's very nice of them.
Thank you.
Emily tweets an advert she found in a Victorian newspaper concerning how people found mates in the 1800s.
Okay.
It reads, and I quote, a gentlewoman, by a variety of unfortunate events, is reduced to the painful necessity of wishing for the friendship and protection of a middle-aged gentleman of honor and integrity.
That's pretty
put
much
that on your Tinder.
That's pretty much like swipe right, isn't it?
Yeah, put that on your profile on your Tinder page.
Oh my God! What kind of? Well, in fact, we should do that.
It reminds me of you trolling for dates in the newspaper.
Yeah, it worked. It worked. I should. In fact, I don't have them still, but I would. I would write very flowery things about the old-fashioned gentleman. I got a lot of reaction
of men.
Of women who are looking for an old-fashioned guy. Anyway, I never. Well, not that it makes any difference anymore. I'm retired. It's over. And is that Joe? Joe's coming up too. But first, Pete Davis.
All right. Elon Musk says Twitter officially considers the term cisgender and cis slurs, and using those words will result at a minimum a temporary suspension. So Professor David Fissman of the University of Toronto went on Twitter and tweeted the word cis 100 times. Libs of TikTok tweeted, imagine going into debt to get educated by this guy.
I love the Libs of TikTok. That chick who runs that thing, I love her. Oh, she's a chick, man. She's great.
One final one. Morbid Knowledge tweets, when Don Carcos fought in World War II in 1942, he was hit in the head by shrapnel, got blinded in his right eye. Later, while working at a racetrack, a horse headbutted Don, banging his head up against a wall. When Don Carcos woke up the next morning, he could see out of his right eye again, 64 years after losing his eyesight.
Oh, my goodness. 64 years?
All I had to do was hit my head up against this wall.
But you'd have figured that in the 64 years there would have been some kind of technology in medicine that would have. Yeah. Oh my Lord! When did this start? Did it say when he?
1942.
Holy cow! Wow, what a great story. Holy smokes. I got a comedy bit coming up in a second. Hold it to the phones. It's Joe joining us here on 106.3. Hello, Joe. Welcome aboard. How you doing?
Hey, Kim, I'm doing great, man. I got a little bit of advice, a little dating advice for Flounder.
Okay, please do. Help him out here.
So I'm 58, married 26 years, divorced, remarried, whatever.
Yeah.
But, hey, when she tells you, Flounder, when she tells you, you can tell me anything. I'm your best friend. Do not fall for it, bro.
Do not tell her everything. Good advice there, Joe. We appreciate it. We're trying to help Flounder out because
it's a trap. This
girl's a keeper. I'm almost positive. 404-741-1230. And now, again, I've retired as a love doctor. I got so much hate reaction about being a creepy old man talking to that pretty little girl. I'm just talking about trying to make her. Anyway, here's we've discovered this guy. I love this comedian, Drew Thomas. And I'd never heard of him until recently. And he's got some advice on relationships. And
we already played him, remember?
I thought you got. Didn't we have? We only played one of them, didn't we?
Well, I played one of them, but we played him all week, so I got some new stuff.
Oh well, again, I stand. This is Flounder's Funny. So again, we got the official title today, Flounder's Funny. So it's I thought we were going to do that, but you pick them. It's your thing entirely, and I'm thrilled to have you do this.
All right, these are two short but sweet ones.
All right, here we go. Flounder's.
Sometimes I wonder if I could kill someone. Do I have it in me to take a human life? And then I remember, oh yeah, Debbie.
Is this Giselle, Nick?
Yeah,
this is Jeselnik.
Anthony Jeselnik. But he's hilarious.
It's Jeselnik, and I used to have the comedy channels on my Sirius XM in the car, and this guy is so off color, but he's hysterical. You cannot help but laugh. Yes, I remember you had Debbie. Oh my God.
He did a lot of. He was a writer for Comedy Central roast and stuff like that. Here's another good one.
I have a 2-year-old nephew. 2 years old. Already been to the hospital 27 times for eating pennies off the floor. Honestly, it's like I can't drop enough pennies.
That's the guy. I mean, every joke he has, he'd go, oh my God.
I have a joke for you.
Please do. Yes.
Why were all the Chinese paratroopers killed during practice?
Why were all the Chinese paratroopers killed during practice? Golly, I don't know.
They were using bamboo shoots.
Bamboo shoots, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hey. See, a bamboo shoot is a little tiny sliver of Sorry. Coming up, we're going to do maybe another comedy bit if we feel like. Whatever Flounder wants to do. We just want to have some fun here at the last few minutes of the show. Also, the Hollywood Reporter's best TV shows of this year so far. And I think I know 2. 10 of the 10 of them I've heard of 2, or know 2. Anyway, it's coming up. 5:45 already with the Kimmer and Pete and Flounder and Sutton at 106.3 right here. Look out, it's only me. It's only the Kimmer, 548, with Pete Davis and Flounder. Working with Sutton back there in the room there. Yes.
This is just a generic rejoin.
I was going to say, I'm trying to find what the hell you're playing. What the hell is it? That's not Michael Jackson. On this day in 1985, Uncle Sam officially takes Route 66 off the American highway system. And that was long before I was actually, that was on my bucket list, was to take a motorcycle ride on my Harley, go do the old Route 66, and then I had to get rid of the Harley. Now I still have my busted chopper that's no good. But and now and Pete, you mentioned your bucket list the other day. Was going to be trying to shoot my age on the golf course, but obviously I don't have time to practice golf anymore, so that's probably going to be never going to happen. Although I may try to hit balls one day a weekend or something, but that's it's going to happen anyway. But the other thing is, I think I will try to take a drive on what is left of Route 66. Before I go. And by the way, notice I say it's Route 66, not Route 66, because of the old TV show Route 66 with Ben Saharis and Martin Milner, I think it was. Anyway, so that's now on my one more thing on my bucket list. One of these days.
George Saharias.
George Saharias. Is that it? Yeah, George Saharias.
And they always seemed perfectly coiffed, and they had taken a bath in like the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, and not only that, that old 1959 Corvette or whatever it was is a two-seater with no trunk. And so, how do they go across country with all these adventures, and they always seem to have everything they needed? I don't know.
And they got a job in every town they stopped in.
They always had plenty of. It's like The Fugitive. Always seemed to work out every town he went to. We're looking for the guy. Well, we bought it. I mean, it was fine. It was fine with me. I don't care. Did I mention? I don't know if I mentioned the former White House counsel on this day, 1973, James Dean. White House counsel tells the Senate Watergate Committee President Nixon has an enemies list. And we all got to that. Now, okay, what were we got? What was we were just going to do? Did we do? We did Skynet. We did Pete's tweets. Now, should we replay the soundbite of the dumbest woman on television?
If you want to, yeah.
Why not? It's 5:51 already. Holy cow! All right, Ana Navarro has got to be an idiot. We know she's a liar and a fake and just a political phony. But she was on the other day talking about Hunter Biden and the scandal with the crime family, and she was defending President Potato Head with not admitting that his son is a crook and that he's a crook, and they're all in it together. And here's what Ana Navarro says about the president loving his son.
The Hunter Biden story, the scandal, the this, the that, it's also the story of a father's love. And Joe Biden has never and will never give up on his son Hunter, and will never treat him lesser than. And so he is a father first. Take it or leave it.
That's got nothing to do with anything. Fathers love sons. Fathers love daughters. Families love each other. No question. Even do something stupid and bad. Reminds me that this is unbelievable. That's not the point. The point is he's lying about knowing anything about Hunter's business because they're in cahoots together. That's the issue. It doesn't matter whether. Thank God he loves his son. Every father should love his son. Well, I'm so glad that Joe Potato Head, who showers with daughter, loves his son. Well, God bless him, and God bless his son too. I'm so glad they love each other. What's that got to do with anything? You stupid idiot. They're faking everything to try to take anything away from the actual incidents, and the facts of it are that their freaking crooks and crime family are in it together, in cahoots with the FGI, the Department of Justice, the whole deal, covering up for him the whole time. And then she says, well, you Republicans are complete MAGA Republicans are trying to cause trouble for us, and we just, I'm so da-da-da-da-da. And so the right-wing troll machine is now attacking me for saying this on The View. What an idiot.
They're using emotion instead of logic and facts. That's what they use. They use emotion, especially with the women, to get them, oh, my gosh, he loves his son. It's Uncle Joe again.
Instead of worrying about the crime family and being in cahoots, and by the way, selling out their country. If, in fact, Joe Biden took money from a communist nation in order to change American foreign policy, that's treason in the worst level.
Yep.
That is selling out your country. And you know what should happen to him if he's guilty and if that's true. Only under those conditions. Right. There should be the highest penalty there is, because that's the highest crime there is. There is no higher crime against your country than treason.
I agree.
Now, in fact, we know he's already sold. The other soundbite today that's pretty important, too, is we caught President Potato Head talking with the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, when they had official state visit. And so here's what President Showers with daughter actually admitted, not realizing that he was on camera at the time. I'm
sorry, what was that?
The president's soundbite where he's at the Indian current prime minister. And
I was just thanking. Anyway,
I was just thinking.
I started off without you.
Yeah.
And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we
Oh, my
shared.
God. All right, okay, two things. First of all, the fact that he says, I sold a lot of state secrets. He claimed later that he was joking, just having a good time. But wait, think about this. This is an official state visit by a foreign nation. And here's the President of the United States before the foreign nation and all the dignitaries in a formal meeting talking about latest things, and he played the very beginning again. Here's the President of the United States. You tell me whether he sounds like the leader of the free world.
I was just thanking. Anyway.
No.
It reminds me of when you're talking to your senile great aunt and she blurts out, "Yeah, we killed a man and buried him in the basement back in '54." You know,
I mean, it's astounding. Astounding
that he is the leader of the alleged free world.
And how many comments has he made to show that he is just not there? Building a railroad track across the Indian Ocean?
I bet that surprised the Prime Minister of India there. Why wasn't I informed of this?
I mean, this is unbelievable.
By the way, is that sucker ever going back to Mumbai or New Delhi? Because he's been here a month.
Well,
is he visiting all the Motel 8s in America?
Well, it's only going to be 100 degrees here in America the next couple of days. He probably wants the coolness, instead of going back to Bhopal.
150.
By the way, this is kind of weird. The Hollywood Reporter, I don't know anything about Hollywood. I don't watch this stuff, but it just occurred to me, and it proves once again that I'm still out of touch. Here's a list of the top 10 best TV shows of 2023 by the Hollywood Reporter. I have Dave. Dave, I've never heard of.
Dave's not here.
It's an FXX comedy about a white rapper and the pros and cons of taking your own death and ridiculousness of fashion in the Met Gala or something or other. Never heard of it. Beef, B-E-E-F on Netflix. Beef's surgical eye for elevated what could have just been a playful comedy about feuding strangers into an outrageously twisty, screamingly funny thriller. Okay, Beef, never heard of it.
It's What's for Dinner.
Happy Valley on the BBC. Happy Valley. 3-season exploration of crime, punishment, and trauma in West Yorkshire, England.
I've seen it. I've seen the first season. It's a pretty good cop show.
I'm a Virgo on Amazon. Boots Riley doesn't make subtle art. He makes art that pummels you with its anti-capitalist rage, searing contemporary satire, and ambitious detours into surrealism. One of the best shows on TV. I'm a Virgo. Never heard of it. The Last of Us. I've heard of this. Series probably the best big or small screen video game adaptation ever. The horror odyssey, a tragic love story, or a mushroom zombie-filled urban nightmare. Yeah. Dear God, The Last... that doesn't sound like something I'd want to watch, does it?
I'm over all the dystopian future stuff. I'm over it, man.
It's really good. It's got Pedro Pascal in it.
Murray Bartlett, Nick Offerman, Storm Reed, Melanie Linsky or something or other. Anyway.
You know what? I just watched that Nicolas Cage, Pedro Pascal movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. It's actually got some pretty funny moments, Nicolas Cage making fun of himself.
Is that where he's running out of money or something?
No, it was basically his acting career's washed up.
Yeah.
He's almost broke, so he goes to Spain to go to some millionaire's birthday party, and he gets wrapped up with the CIA and a murder kidnapping plot.
Oh,
it's pretty
mercy.
funny.
There you go. Other than their top top 10 list I've never heard of. The Other Two on Max. Awfulness, delightful streams of absurdity, showbiz satire, cameos, pop culture references. The Other Two on Max. Somebody Somewhere. That's the joy, poignancy, love, hilarity, and romance. Impromptu song, service, a love letter or an apology. Food poisoning. I don't know what it's about. Succession. I used to watch that. In fact, I saw that right up till the end, I think. Although I may still be going on. I don't know. I saw the last few. And the other one I did see was Barry, which is now over. And that got weird at the end. The last season was really...
I haven't seen the last.
Yeah, it was bizarre. But anyway, out of the top 10 shows, according to the Hollywood people, the top 10 shows I've heard of 2.
Well, you don't have Amazon or Netflix.
Well, there you go. Now, why should I have to go buy a whole... I don't want to watch things on my phone.
Everyone watches it on their television. This is 2023.
Well,
Mr.
I don't
Cronkite.
want to be in 2023. I want to be in 1959. And I want my 53 Chevy back, too.
You want to turn on your Dumont television.
Yes, I do. And I want to hold the rabbit ear antennas with a tin foil to see what's up on the roof.
The mutual broadcasting system.
Oh, dear God.
All
right.
Benny.
Well, listen, I blew half of the afternoon there, but we'll make it up to tomorrow because we're going to the ball game. It's an early game. We'll be here early and we'll have some fun and talk about the folks we meet at the ball game tomorrow. In other words, God bless America. Flounder and Pete and Oorah 2 Sutton and only the camera saying, Oorah, I gotta go, you're killing me. Look out.